Hello, gamers. Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are all doing well. Appreciate you stopping by. Welcome to the live stream discussion. We're going to be discussing RWBY Volume 9, Chapter 2. Before we start, how does the audio sound, by the way? I did some mic adjustment moving around, so I just want to make sure you guys can hear everything and the audio's coming in clearly. And yeah, just want to make sure that that's dealt with before we get any further. Audio's good for you? All right, cool. Cool. All right. All right, give me 1 second. I have a bunch of other... Okay, there we go. We should... Oh, hold on. Damn. Well, I gotta clear my desktop of everything else that's not this stream. All right, cool. We're good. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? It's been a week, but we made it another week, which means we get another RWBY chapter. It's so good to actually only have to wait 7 days instead of 2 years. But yeah, we have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about with this chapter in particular. Finished all of my prep last night. So thank you guys all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. The first live stream discussion has a lot of really good feedback too from people who watch the VOD. So I'm really happy that people are still enjoying these whenever they can between weeks. Between episode weeks. One big reason why I do these live streams on Thursday is because I want Thursday to be like the live stream kind of experience, and then I want Friday to be an opportunity for people who didn't get to watch it on Thursday to have something to kind of watch or entertain them, and then Saturday the next episode and my previous episode reaction comes out. So I'm basically covering my bases for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, or rather Thursday, Friday, if you're watching it live or if you're watching it as a VOD. So that's one of the reasons why I like having Thursday as my streaming option. Okay. Hey, Ruger Rainsberg, welcome back. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, thank you for tuning in. I wouldn't be able to really do these as consistently or enjoy doing these as much as I have been if it wasn't for people tuning in and looking forward to these, especially after such a long time, you know? Hey, what's up, Mets? Thanks for dropping in. They really need to fix the subtitle issue like ASAP. Yeah, I don't know. It's like a Crunchyroll thing, though. So, like, that, unfortunately, is going to be the unfortunate trade-off of it being on Crunchyroll as opposed to Rooster Teeth. But yeah, I mean, it's apparently a Crunchyroll wide issue. This is not exclusive to YouTube, but because people on the Rooster Teeth side were used to getting closed captions, it's just unfortunate that we got to take a bit of an L when it comes to that. I've never used Crunchyroll. Could it be a dub issue? I'm not sure. I don't know how they go about dubbing or adding closed captions for non-dubs. You know, I mean, obviously they need the subs for, you know, the Japanese voice acting for the like non-Japanese audience, but yeah, I have no clue. But you know, outside of that, like, I think Crunchyroll is still a really great service overall if you're getting more out of it than just RWBY, of course. But hey Arnold, it's been a hot minute. Potato J, it has been. Hope you've been well. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Yeah, we did these discussions. Well, we originally started it last week. Last Thursday was my episode 1 discussion that is now VODed. And just as a kind of reminder to those of you, because YouTube has kind of changed its format in the last couple of years, but there is now a live tab. So if you go to my channel, you'll see videos, live, shorts. If I did any, I don't do shorts. But like my live stream VODs are under the live tab now because it's classified as a live stream, even though it's now a VOD. So for anyone that looks for the VODs, just know that it's not going to be under video, it's going to be under live. Because before, all of your stuff was funneled under the video playlist, and then it made it confusing for people to not know what's a video and what's a VOD or whatever. Did you ever find out what page of Cat in the Hat you actually on? No, actually. I know I said I would, but I just kind of got caught up with other things, especially with Genshin this week. So I will definitely check this week to make sure for next week. But we are on, as far as I can tell, we're on page 11, if I'm not mistaken. So, well, there's 2 pages per page. So we're on, we flipped the book about 5 times now. So yeah. Because there's like, some pages don't have words. They just have like one half of a page is words. The other half is a letter. I'm sorry, are pictures and words. So yeah. Arnold, can you still crack your knuckles? Yeah, I'm actually doing that right now. A dedicated page on your channel for all your live streams? Yeah, I mean, that's basically... So YouTube has it to where your videos, your live streams, and your YouTube shorts are all separate, and they each have a different, like, algorithmic, like, rhythm to them. So, like, they're all discovered differently. And it just makes it cleaner for, like, your past videos or stuff like that, just so everything's not cluttered and your page doesn't look like a jumbled mess. But yeah. No, you didn't miss anything, Janice. Welcome back, by the way. No, I literally just went live. I haven't even been live for 10 minutes. So I just like chit-chatting with people before we jump into the content, before we jump into the conversations and the discussions and things like that. Source, thank you for the 5 euros. I think that's euros. I could be wrong. Glad I'm finally able to join the live stream. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on this episode. I actually liked this episode more than the first episode, believe it or not. I don't know if anyone else will attest to that, but I just really loved the pacing. I loved how the exposition is delivered in a way that makes sense because they're explaining. Like, it makes sense to explain the plot given that it's taken from the source of a book. So, like, I love, I love what they're doing with Blake as well. They're kind of giving her the leadership role in a meaningful way, and it's not just like, hey, guys, we're giving you more Blake because she's on screen. It's like... And it's great that it's Blake that's taking point because she is the bookworm of the group. So I'm really liking Blake's role in this plot so far. And I really like how the exposition is being addressed and given. And it doesn't feel like, oh, well, they're telling us something that's about to happen. Because, like, Team RWBY is doing it differently. Well, similarly, but in their own way compared to Alex, who was one person, you know? So I really love how the second episode played out. It's A-L-Y-X. Yeah, Alex in the show is spelled A-L-Y-X. So yeah. But yeah, we have a bunch of clips. We have a bunch of clips and images and stuff like that to go through for the discussion. So I'll give it maybe another minute or 2 for people to tune in and join. We just passed the 200 viewer mark. So welcome, everybody. Hope you guys had a good week. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed all of the content so far for RWBY. I'm actually juggling RWBY and Genshin. The new update for Genshin Impact just went out for 3.5 for anyone who knows or even cares. That's the other thing that I've been tackling along with my weekly RWBYs. And I'm also still making progress on the anime content, which I think I'm going to wait a couple more weeks before I actually start diversifying stuff. Like, I want to start uploading the RWBY. I'm sorry, I want to start uploading, like, my anime reactions and discussions before RWBY Volume 9, before Volume 9 ends. Are you okay, Arnold? You seem tired? No, I'm not tired. You're probably reading into it a little bit wrong. No, I'm the furthest thing from tired, actually. But yeah, I'm fine. Haven't been to one of these since Volume 8. Missed these so much. Love the volume so far. Cyborg, welcome back. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. Does anyone else know who Alex is? I'm pretty sure. It's just... It's been a long time. I'll get into it when we actually talk about it, but outside of it being a storybook character, you know, it's you know, it's going to take some time. Gaming with TD Coco. Yeah, I mean, I'm not caught up with Attack on Titan, so it being back tomorrow doesn't really affect me much. But, yeah, for people who are caught up and are looking forward to that, I hope they enjoy it. I'm playing catch up, so I'm not really, paying attention to any current up-to-date stuff going on. Machina Mike, welcome. Appreciate your, hey, we all appreciate a good lurker. Lurkers are the true MVPs of any stream, so I appreciate it. Hey, what's up, Peyton? Oh my god, Edo, what's good? My boy. I'm glad I'm here this time. Yo, I appreciate you, dude. Thanks for stopping by. I was just talking to my brother the other day about you. You don't know my brother, but like I was talking about how like back in the day when we used to play like a shit ton of Naruto Storm, I told him that I found your channel through like Naruto, through like the Storm series. And because we were talking about the new game that just got announced, I don't know shit about the new game, like the Naruto Storms connection or whatever. But that like took me back because I remember me and him used to fiend the Naruto Storm series back when I like started my channel like 2013, 2014. But yeah, we're old as fuck, dude. We're fossils. Yeah. But anyways, also Charity, welcome to the stream. I remember your name from last time. Thank you guys all for tuning in, or Twitter, or maybe both. But thank you guys all for tuning in. We're gonna be jumping into the RWBY Volume 9 Chapter 2 live stream discussion, altercation at the auspicious auction, which is really good alliteration. And yeah, a lot of interesting stuff happened. I'm trying to just read through the last couple of comments coming in before we start. Yo, Flair, thank you for the $10 super chat. Do you feel any way... Wait. Do you feel any way about the episode being... Wait, sorry, let me read this again. Do you feel any way about the episodes only being 17 minutes, and does that have to do with the movie? Also, is it okay to feel upset about a non-canon movie affecting core series production cycle? I'll answer your second question first. You're entitled to your emotions. You're entitled to feel however you want about anything at any point in time, so... Is it okay to feel upset about non-canon movie affecting the core series production cycle? Yes. If that's how you feel, you do you, you know, you just have to understand that not everyone is going to feel the same way you do. I will admit that before I saw anything, I mean, I still haven't seen the DC trailer that they came out with. I want to watch it. I want to do like a reaction and give my thoughts more directly to how I feel about that when that time comes. But, before Volume 9 came out, I will be honest, I was very, I don't want to say pessimistic. I felt like because RWBY, I was so far from RWBY content from Volume 8, right? It was 2 years. It was almost a 2-year wait. It was nearly a 2-year wait. There was nothing of major substance that was gripping me that made me feel like hungry to come back to the series. I still haven't checked out all of Ice Queendom. I still have not listened to the Volume 8 soundtrack. That's how detached I was from RWBY because of the long hiatus. And so when Volume 9 came back, and then we found out there was also a movie being attached to it, or like they were also simultaneously working on the movie, I was actually a little upset about that, because I was like, I was upset from the perspective that a lot of people at Rooster Teeth got basically laid off because the 2-year hiatus and all of this money going into these projects and none of the projects coming out and no money being made meant that they were paying people when they had no work for them to do. And so that's what upset me more. I wish that they had done it gradually and not just been like, work on these 3 things, part 1 to a movie, part 2 to a movie, and Volume 9. And they did a little bit of in-house animation work for the video game. The video game is actually the only thing that I jumped into. And so for me, that was a cool like 2-day respite. It kind of got me excited about RWBY again for the first time in a long time. But like for me, I just really felt like, and I still feel it, like as a content creator, you guys also have to understand that like obviously the success of a show is very synonymous with the success of a content creator if that's the content they cover. So if you cover a popular game, you're probably going to get a lot of views if your content is of you know, standards and quality. Similar to shows and stuff. If you watch a show that a lot of people are watching and talking about and enjoying, that reflects in your viewership, in your audience, etc., etc. And I feel like looking and thinking about how my videos performed and how my live streams performed during Volume 6, Volume 7, Volume 8, when RWBY was annual, I don't think annual was ever the way that they should have gone because they eventually burned themselves out. But I feel like the 2-year hiatus, it's a combination of things. It's the 2-year hiatus, and it's the fact that a lot of people look at Volume 9 as a filler volume that's not worth being hyper invested in on a week-to-week basis because it's very much just meant for character development, and the plot of Ozpin and Salem and the relics and the maidens isn't being forwarded. So I honestly feel like it is more so the fact that it was the 2-year hiatus, and a lot of people just don't feel compelled. A lot of people felt like how I felt before RWBY came back, but when RWBY came back, I kind of realigned myself and like really got into it again, whereas those people are just fine with it being where it is now. So, yeah, unfortunately, I really feel like the hiatus didn't help RWBY's case, and you know, however that plays out for the show is a completely different conversation. But yeah, I do think that it's valid to feel like the time and effort for RWBY went elsewhere when it really didn't need to. Like, I'm sure Rooster Teeth wasn't chopping at the bit to be like, hey, can we please put DC characters in our RWBY series? This was clearly a move by the higher-ups at Warner Discovery and whatnot. And, you know, unfortunately, that is the give and take when it comes to being owned by a higher-up company that provides you money and promotion and all that other stuff. You just kind of have to play ball. In terms of the runtime, I think 17 minutes is actually pretty fine, especially if they're going to be consistent with all episodes. You take out the intro and outro, and it's about a 15-minute episode, but that's kind of been the average for the most part with previous volumes. And you also have to understand that this isn't the same for every episode. Jeff Yetter has already confirmed that the average runtime is going to be 18 minutes, and some episodes will be longer than that, and some episodes will be shorter than that. So the first 2 episodes being the runtime that they are, with it being weekly, and it's going to be that way for all of the previous episodes, I think is completely fine, personally. But yeah, so those are my general thoughts, Flair. Julia Spite, how's it going? Welcome back. Hey, Arnold, sending my weekly super chat. Thank you so much for doing the live streams for us. By the way, I did some research and you left off on page 6. As Ruby and White say, thank me later. Oh my God, did I really? Hold on. Okay, so I left off. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're on the right page then, because this page I read last week and someone's like, you already read that page. So then we went to page 8 and 9, or page 6 and 7 we read. Page 8 and 9 I did last week, so we're on page 10, 11. So we're on this page. So I'll get to that in due time. Thank you. Now I don't have to go back and and figure that out myself. Thank you. Appreciate the super chat again. Summertime Lovin', I'm going to finish these super chats and then we're going to jump into the conversation. Summertime Lovin', I love that name. Thank you for the $20 super chat. First time donating to my favorite content creator who I've been watching for 5 years. I should be doing this more often and I can't wait to support you and the Patreon. Hello, Crow family. Thank you. Really appreciate that. It's so crazy too, because like the support that I've gotten from these videos and streams really kind of feels like we literally just picked up where we left off, but it also feels like the last 2 years didn't happen when we all know it did. I feel like we were just in the moment, and now that RWBY's back, we're just kind of like we've secluded ourselves off to like better times, and we're not thinking about the past anymore. Like nothing bad ever happened ever kind of thing. Autistic Beehive, thank you for the super chat. Volume 9 feels like a filler season, and that's it. Well, like I said, like, a lot of people feel differently about what they like. Filler at the end of the day is considered plot that doesn't need to happen. It really ultimately comes down from like the passing of like manga to anime adaptation, and a filler is basically something that is put in the anime that wasn't in the manga, so it's non-source material. But like at the same time, if you don't give the time for the characters to have this little break from the main plot, there's not going to be enough time to have any type of characterization, character growth, character development when the world is ending. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's a nice trade-off in the meantime, but obviously not everyone's going to feel the same way. All right, let's see. Chad Gigason, thank you for the super chat. How's it going, dude? You might remember me as Hydra or Christian. Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, of course I do. Yeah, it's been a while. Hope you've been well. I think I still follow you on Twitter. I think I've seen you tweet a couple times in the last week. But yeah, of course. I hope you're well as well. Thank you for stopping by. And then this is the last one, and then we'll jump into it. TriggeredFiend. Hey, just wanted to bring this up because I thought it was interesting. I noticed that Ruby's attitude is very similar to Yang's in Volume 3. Thoughts? I wouldn't say exactly the same. Yang's feelings in Volume 3 were just the fact that she kind of got jebaited. She got, like, framed for something she didn't do, and a bunch of people just were angry at her. I feel like it's very different from, like, how RWBY feels, which is just basically a lot of the baggage and trauma and emotional instability that she's been forced to just kind of repress. But obviously the characters react differently to things too, but I can definitely see where you're coming at with that. Let's see. Oh, sorry, Flair. I missed that. All right, let's see. One final thing. I love your channel and the RWBY base as a whole. Just wanted to give my thoughts. Also, Attack on Titan will break you more than RWBY has. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll get there when I get there. I never want people to give me like preconceived expectations of how I'll feel about a show, because I feel like that just builds unreasonable expectations to put on someone before they can say for themselves whether or not something will or won't affect them the way you think it will. So, I mean, I'm just gonna say I'm interested in getting back into Attack on Titan. I'm interested to see where it goes, and I hope I enjoy it as much as I hear a lot of other people talking about it. But with all of that said, thank you guys again for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We're up to 300 viewers, so I appreciate all of you guys being here. And we're going to switch gears now and jump into the conversations from start to end. You guys are going to lose me on screen based on the clips and things of that nature. So yeah. So without further ado, let us begin. We are in the Ever After, which is pretty cool. Like, I actually knew that this was called the Ever After from the promotional, like, so during Volume 8, they when they showed the concept art for like the central communication system, they accidentally leaked the name of the void space as the Ever After, and I thought that's what the void space was called. I didn't know that this land was basically also referred to as the Ever After, which is pretty cool. So obviously it's based on like happily ever after. So it's basically how every fairy tale should end, right? Like in a happy ever after sense. So I like the name of it. They're in Ohio. Yeah, so we have all of the areas. So they're coming out. So I guess all of these different points are called acres, which is what Little referred to it as. So they're coming out of the quote unquote tropical acre is what I'm calling it, right? There's like the beach, there's the palm, like the twisted palm trees, there's the grasslands, there's the ocean. So they're coming out of the tropical acre, and they're moving down into the town, like the toy town acre, I would say. Yeah, I wonder if it's based on like the 100-acre wood, because there's a bunch of acres in this. Like in this area, like there's a ton of them even in the background. So I wonder if this is a reference to like the 100-acre wood from like the Winnie the Pooh series. That would be super, super cool if it was. Also, give me a second. I'm going to grab my notebook, because I want to be able to write down and take down notes of anything of noteworthiness that I bring up, because I just thought of that now, which is cool. So let's type in 100-acre wood. Volume 9 acres. Yeah, write that down. Write that down. So yeah, all of these acres are pretty dope. Also, I need to move my camera because the rest of these clips are going to be from the perspective that we are usually accustomed to. So we got this here and this here. Okay, cool. All right, so I just want to say, I don't know about any of y'all. Some of you guys might have already seen the reaction that I did, which is up on Patreon right now. But I think Weiss absolutely stole this episode. She was the star, in my opinion. Her and Blake, I would say. Like, they're kind of building up for it to be RWBY. Yang is kind of doing Yang's things. Like, Yang is kind of back in her, like, her normal, not normal, I would say, but, like, basically, Yang is kind of back to, like, her base persona, her base personality. And I don't know if this is like a facade or if it's kind of easier for her to just kind of get back into the flow of how she usually is based on everything that's happened. But I love how, like, and I've been hearing a bunch of people talk about, like, it's not a lot of people. This is a very insignificant number. I don't want it to seem like, oh my God, everyone's complaining. But, like, I've heard, and I've actually watched a reaction video of this reaction from someone that I watch on Patreon, who basically thought that Weiss was a little bit out of character here, which I couldn't disagree more on, because, like, I feel like everybody wants Team RWBY to be these dark, mature, brooding characters after what just happened. And they want it to be, like, instant, and they want it to be consistent, and they want it to last. The people that, like, for some of the things that I've also heard about this episode in particular, it's like, oh, there's whiplash, like all the bad stuff that just happened in Volume 9, and now we're back to these comedic, like, bubble scribble shots that are supposed to be funny. And I get that, like, if you just want a tone to just kind of follow itself on and on until you feel like it's a satisfying, like, development or whatever. But I love these moments. Like, and I know, like, moments like this aren't always gonna last. And for me personally, I am really good at just kind of switching between, like, different themes, if you will, or different atmospheres. Like, I can, how do I word this? I can appreciate the funniness of Yang saying high five with her disarmed freaking robot arm and finding that funny, and then shifting to, like, RWBY actually doesn't find it very funny, and she's actually kind of having a little bit of an emotional moment, and shifting my understanding of, like, the scene based on what's happening. And yeah, emotional parkour. Yeah. And so for Weiss, like, she was this is the same character that in Volume 2 she was like, so Blake Belladonna, what is wrong? And she's standing, like, balancing on a fucking chair in her dorm room. And I'm just like, yeah, that same character, that's this isn't in character for her. You kidding me? Weiss is the culmination of, like, she's serious and she's silly. She walks that, like, it's a very thin line, and on whatever given day she's gonna choose to be silly or serious, and it's like you never know which one you're gonna get. But Weiss is definitely capable of being both of those things. So yeah, I loved, like, these moments too, where she, and obviously she's like, okay, she's trying to be serious here. She's like, okay, you know what? We're not in a book. We're not in a fairy tale. And I'm going to explain why. Because RWBY's talking to a mouse. We got caught off by killer freaking vines and an entire mouse army. You got your arm stolen by a freaking talking raccoon on a purple wagon with trash. And I'm like, she's like, God damn it. Like, I want to take this seriously, but I kind of can't. You know what I mean? So I just thought Weiss was pretty silly here, and I liked it. Weiss is having a Weiss is having a logical breakdown, and you say it's, well, I mean, she's trying to be logical, but it's just not working. Also, Weiss herself isn't being silly. The direction of how she's reacting to it is being portrayed in a silly way. Like, she's having like a little freaking temper tantrum here. Like, how the hell is that? Like, she's just trying to make sense of it all. So she herself isn't being silly, but to express her in this way comes off as silly. And I think that's okay. Yeah, she's not choosing to be silly. It's just like how she's being portrayed for the scene itself. Do you feel like the choppy animation was intentional since they're in a fairy tale? I don't know. I feel like Roosterteeth's leaning more to making... Wait, what do you mean choppy? Are you talking about this shot right here? I think it's intentional for the silliness of the scene. Like, she's basically rambling to herself in the corner, like freaking throwing her fist in the air. Like, come on now. Like, you think you want me to take her seriously at that point? You know? But yeah. Also, I just want to say really quick, if you send a super chat and I don't read it, like when it's mentioned or when you post it, I will get to them at the end of the video if I don't manage to check it out during the flow of the conversation. Because I don't want to constantly be stopping and going with my conversations and my thoughts because of super chats. So I do want to say, if I don't acknowledge it in the moment, they will be acknowledged at the end once we're done with the conversation, just so I can give people that, you know, give people the appropriate time to acknowledge what they, you know, donated or what they sent. But yeah, so... I mean, again, I understand if some people want them to kind of go for like one type of tone or atmosphere and stick with that. And I feel like they're doing that in different ways. Like, RWBY is not very chipper. She's not very happy. She's not very like on board with all of the laughing and giggling and stuff that's going on here. And it's affecting her differently than everybody else. So, I feel like for some characters, they'll be a little bit more on the serious side, where other characters will be more on the lax, carefree side of things, because everyone's kind of going through their own different emotional, like some people are a bit more content with the fact, okay, we're not dead, we're all together. We still have to figure out how to get out of here, but this is their moment of respite. So yeah. I loved this shot as well. This ever after shot. You kind of get to see the other acres a little bit better from the right side, at least. I cannot tell you guys how disappointed I will be if we do not go to the Candy freaking Gumdrop Mountain. With 10 episodes, and there looks to be like 15 different, like 10 to 15 different biomes in this one shot. I already know we're not going everywhere. But, like, that is, without a doubt, the most tantalizing spot in the entire Ever After that we see so far. Like, if Team RWBY doesn't go there, I hope that at least Neo is there. You know what I mean? Like, because, like, that is literally her. Also, I also realized something, chat. I realized that OBS added a feature where I can change the speed of the loop in OBS. Like, in OBS itself. So, like, I just changed the speed right here, or I can make it go even, I can make it go, like, super slow, like 1 frame per second. So I think that's a really dope feature, because in the past, I would preset the loop speed myself and then embed it into OBS. I found that out after last week's episode, because some of the shots went by a little too quickly. But, yeah, if a shot's, like, going too fast, I can kind of preset and, make it go a little slower just to take in everything a little bit better. But yeah, OBS actually goated for that. But yeah, overall, I really, really like, again, this is kind of just like a grander shot of what the initial shot of the last episode and the start of this episode was, but you can kind of see a little bit of like the back right side of, you know, the scenes that the shots that we didn't get to see. And some of them look pretty crazy. Like you have like that one jungle kind of biome. And then you have the like the pink and purple one to the right. I thought that was the Toy Town, but the Toy Town seems to be on the outskirts. Actually, no, the Toy Town seems to be on the outskirts of the Red Kingdom, because they had to pass the bridge to get there. So the Red Toy Town is within the kingdom of the Red King. or like the Forever Falls like 2.0 is what I've basically been calling it. So overall, I really like the presentation of the Ever After. They have the volcano in the back. They have we already know the biome. We already know the biomes we're gonna go to, right? We already know that we're gonna go to we're already in the red forest right now, and then we're gonna transition to like the night, like the dark forest, like bioluminescent mushroom acre. And then from there, it really depends on where the story takes us. But yeah, so transitioning from here, they finally name drop the character Alex. So in the first episode, a lot of people were already under the assumption of putting 2 and 2 together based on the Girl Who Fell Through the World story through the Roman holiday novel that kind of addresses the fairy tale a little bit and talks about a little bit of Alex and her adventures. Fire truck just passed my house. But yeah, so Alex is officially in the show. Well, she's mentioned, referenced, and it basically is kind of confirming what we already knew, which is Alice in Wonderland story through Alex's experiences, and they're being retold or reimagined through Team RWBY's actions, for better or for worse. And it kind of just outlines, and this is where I feel like, again, I feel like it was so great to give Blake center stage, both in the last episode and in this one, because she's the bookworm of the group. She enjoys reading. She's read the most. And, like, it's great for her to give... And, like, I love how they're giving the exposition, but because most people don't know the fairy tale, like, we as the readers, even for people who read Roman Holiday, don't know the full story. A lot of us have probably watched or grew up watching Alice in Wonderland, whatever iteration of it. So, like, it's really cool that they're giving us the exposition in a way that's kind of telling of what we're going to experience this volume. They mentioned the curious cat, the rusted knight, the hunter mice, the sneaky peddler, and all that other stuff. So I thought it was really cool how they basically gave Blake like a leadership point, because they're kind of overseeing like her perspective, which is like, okay, we're in this fairy tale, we have to follow it through. You can't skip chapters, you can't read to find out what happens at the end of the book. You have to read it in order. And I like how that comes back towards the end as well. RWBY likes reading books too, sure, but like Blake is clearly the reader of the gang. Like RWBY, if left up to like here's another thing too. Yang read books to RWBY growing up as a kid. That is why Yang also knows some of the story. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was a story that Yang told to RWBY as she was growing up, like a bedtime story or something like that. But Blake is the one who is the avid reader of the bunch, for sure, without a doubt. Like, she reads recreationally. I feel like nowadays, Blake and Yang probably would only read if it's required of them, to be completely honest. So I like how Blake is the one that's getting a little bit more center stage. She's getting more of the kind of leadership role right now. And yeah, it's just super refreshing to see, because I feel like up to this point, I don't know, like, I feel like Blake has always, to me at least, Blake is, with the exception of maybe Volume 6 in some cases, like obviously with the Adam plot and the Menagerie arc, where she was basically the main character of that arc of being in Menagerie, I feel like Blake has always really been a side character of Team RWBY. It's really been RWBY or Yang that has taken point. Oh, sorry, RWBY or Weiss that has taken point more than Yang or Blake until probably Volume 7. So I don't know. I just really like that she's calling the shots and people are just kind of supporting her, because I don't think she's really ever had that kind of role before within the team. Blake has been done dirty until Volume 8, to be honest. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. And I know how much you like. I know how much you're a fan of Blake, Raijin. So I'm pretty sure you're happy to see it. So yeah, like, I understand some people are like, oh, we want to see Blake more, and then they gave us the Menagerie arc, and I feel like that arc kind of overstayed its welcome with Volumes 4 and 5 collectively. But yeah, I feel Blake feels like the leader of Team RWBY when I watch this. So like, that's a big fucking compliment, especially for me, because I don't feel like she's ever really been that type of person. Like, I remember Volume 8, even when they're fighting the that giant like monster maggot grim at the power generator when the hound pops off, and she's like struggling to fight and she needs like Ruby's help. That's the vibe Blake has always given me. It's always been, I need other people. And like, yeah, I get it, it's a team effort, but at the same time, like, this feels like she's in her element and she doesn't need anyone telling her what to do. She can guide her team and they can have faith in what she knows. So at the very least, she's playing to her strengths here. So I really, really like that. And then Little also, again, Little's on with this name purpose nonsense. It's nonsense because I don't understand it yet. But like a name essentially boiling down to a purpose is very interesting. And I really want to know where Little learned this, or who told Little this, or like what the purpose of a name is within the Ever After. Because it's very clear that it's not about your identity. It's about like your contributions to society, essentially. You know what I mean? Like the sneaky peddler peddles. Like, I don't know. Like, but his name is Jinxie. So I'm like, is he Jinxie because he jinxes the items to be other items? Is that why his name's Jinxie? You know? I know names have meaning, but like the way that Little is saying it, it's kind of like every person with a name, their name is basically what their purpose is in life, which is almost kind of derived of an action. It's like your name is what you do, you know? It's like a verb. So I'm just kind of curious as to where that mindset comes from with this place and what are other people's names here, you know? Anyways, let's see. Okay, so let's carry on. Again, Weiss completely stealing the show here. She's like, who? She's just so fed up with this place. She's so done, and I love it. I love the I just love Weiss's energy this entire episode. She's like the one person here that's just not very on board. She's like, a fairy tale? Yeah, okay. Oh, we have to freaking follow our heart? Yeah, that's real rich. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's yeah, she definitely has what's that supposed to mean vibes. She should have said that, dude. She add another what's that supposed to mean to the what's that supposed to mean timer. But yeah, she's like, who? She's just like, what the hell is that? What's this? The Jinxie peddler? What does that even mean? Yeah, her sense of logic just went out the window. Candyland gives me Shark Boy and Lava Girl vibes. I actually never watched that movie. I didn't know that what's it called? What's his name? Taylor Lautner? Isn't that the boy? I actually didn't know when I watched like the Twilight movies back in the day. People were like, "Oh yeah, that's the boy from Shark Boy," and I was like, "Oh, he's in that." I didn't know. I never watched it. Yeah, I never watched it. I watched Spy Kids as a kid, so I don't know if there's like a correlation to that. But Shark Boy and Lava Girl reminds me of Spy Kids, and I just watched Spy Kids growing up. Yeah, Spy Kids is I know Spy Kids is within the same era. Yeah, that's definitely the one that I watched. It wasn't like yeah, I'm not gonna watch Shark Boy and Lava Girl because I'm loyal to Spy Kids. Just I never was in a situation where watching Shark Boy and Lava Girl ever came up in my life. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then Little, you know what Little's purpose is? This right here. We need to change the name. We need to say Little is sleepy. All right, because that's the only thing this Little would be named in narcolepsy. Actually, you know what? Facts, actually. Little's falling asleep like every 2 seconds. It's like, that's your purpose. Your purpose is to just take a big nap whenever you feel like it. Also, shout out to the anime snot bubble. Yeah, Little's great. Little's great. I really feel like something bad's gonna happen to this mouse by the end of the volume, and that's all I'm saying. I bet Little's name is based on Stuart Little. Wouldn't be surprised. A lot of people thought he was based on Stuart Little, but like he's based off of the Dormouse, or they're based off of the Dormouse in Alice in Wonderland. But give a mouse a name Little, and people are immediately going to associate that with Stuart Little. So it could be both. It could definitely be both. But yeah. So moving on from there, we are transitioning to. They don't give this place a town. They just call it a town, but I'm calling it Toy Town, okay? I'm making the executive decision. I am the CEO of Rooster Teeth after all, so my word is law around these parts. Toy Town, which I love the place, by the way. I freaking love this town that they're going to end up going to. It's so freaking cool. But yeah, so Blake is essentially reminding them that, like, hey, we have to follow the book. We have to follow the plot of this book, because if not, we're going to start inciting riots and freaking chaos and pandemonium and mayhem amongst the toys. You know, like Alex caused a riot with the people, and it's just a bunch of toys just messing around. You know what I mean? It's like, how bad could it be? You know, these things probably don't die. They probably don't feel pain or joy or anything. You know what I mean? They're just kind of like, they're just toy. They're like little toy pieces that you use on a board game, you know? But yeah, and they mention that, well, Yang at least mentions that Alex basically kind of lied and cheated her way through the book, which is just again, it's like White said, she's trying to survive. So at the end of the day, if she can't play by the rules, she'll bend them. And that's basically what Espen does. Here's what I will say though, chat. And this is a very interesting thing to think about. So you're looking at RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang, and you have to follow the plot of the book, right? Apparently, the only way to make it through this plot is to follow the themes of the book. You cannot deviate. You cannot skip ahead. You can't read chapters ahead of time. You can't go to the end of the book immediately. You got to read word by word, paragraph by paragraph, page by page, right? So if Team RWBY is following in Alex's footsteps, where does this leave Neo? And where does this leave Jean? Whose plot are they following in the book? Because you would think that the same would apply to Jean and the same would apply to Neo, but are they also going to follow what Alex is doing, or are they going to take roles of other characters in the story? So, for example, Neo is assuming the role of the Mad Hatter, I'm assuming. So where does that leave Jean? Like, what role is Jean going to fulfill? Yang did mention the Rusted Knight, but I think the characters, it's weird though, because like, can someone coming in from another world assume the role of a character within the story already, right? Like, we already know who the Curious Cat is. We already know who the Hunter Mice and the Red King. Like, no one's coming in and assuming those roles. So like, when Yang mentions the Rusted Knight, is that Jean she's talking about? Is Jean gonna assume the role of an already established character of the story? Or is that gonna be somebody else entirely, and Jean is gonna assume a character of the story that we just haven't met yet or seen yet or whatever? You know what I mean? You know, because another thing too, and I'm skipping ahead a little here, but when they see Jinxie, Blake mentions that he appears to be a lot older than he is in the book, which implies that time has passed since Alex has last been here. So if Jinxie was a lot younger, years have passed at this point. Team RWBY's here, and now Jinxie's a lot older. So like if the Rusted Knight was here, let's just say years have passed and the Rusted Knight has since died, Jean falls into the world. And just happen, and look at this. So like, let's just say the Rusted Knight died since Alex was last here. And then Jean falls into the world. He's conflicted with his emotions. And whoever came in touch with him decided to repurpose his identity to fill the role of the Rusted Knight that has since not been here until he got here. You know what I mean? So like, I wonder if they, I wonder if that could potentially be the case. Like, you fulfill the role of someone to fit the plot. And yeah, I don't know. Jean could be the knave. Yeah, he could be the knave, actually. Actually, you know what? That actually sounds a little bit more accurate. Or he could be the slayer of the Jabberwocker, but his sword is broken. But we have the blacksmith in the shop that could forge the Vorpal blade. You know what I mean? Like, that could play out as well. You know, Penny's sword could be the Vorpal blade in disguise, because if Ruby's kind of the main character going through this story, I wonder if Ruby will take the identity swap or the identity wipe deal, and maybe she'll become like a clean slate Alice, and then use Penny's sword to kill the Jabberwocker by the end of it. You know what I mean? Just to kind of follow in Alice's footsteps, because they said that Alice had like a knife or something, or like a sword or something, and we know that the Vorpal blade is a blade within that mythos that is used to slay the Jabberwocky. Yeah, dagger, that's what it was, yeah. So, you know, that could play out as well. Yeah, a lot of different avenues here, but like, again, I think it's very clear to assume that Neo is going to be the Mad Hatter, and I swear to God, if Neo's domain is not in that Candyland area, I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. I will flip this table. I'll tell you right now. Kirsten Love, hello, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the super chat. I'm late. Oops, better late than never. Hi, Arnold. I love this week's episode, and I'm excited for the discussions being back. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Also, Gesno, thank you for the $20 super chat. I love how Blake is like a fan being transported into their favorite series. Like, I think if any of us got dropped into RWBY, we'd be trying to stop the fall of Beacon or Pyrrha or Penny's death. Yeah, exactly. Like, this is a super cool, like if you're a big fan of like Lord of the Rings, then you get dropped into that world. You know what I mean? I completely agree. It's almost kind of how, like, having your own personal cheat sheet too, because it's like you read the book, you know how it's going to end, and you know all of the bells, you know all of the steps and beats leading up from one event to another. But yeah, I think that's super cool to think about too for Blake's perspective, because again, she's kind of like assuming the leadership role right now. Yeah, they basically got isekai'd, which is funny. But yeah, so they are heading to the Toy Town area, and this was great. This was an awesome, funny moment here with the the animation that shows with Yang when she wakes up, like that face right there, like the surprise, like anime shocked face is so freaking good. That's like super hilarious. She's like, "Wait, come back, that's mine." and he's just like, victory. He just looks like such an evil, maniacal villain who made off with her arm. And yeah, I love how they're kind of playing into the flirtiness, like, again, the two characters are back together. I'm pretty sure that this is essentially happening potentially this volume with Blake and Yang talking about their feelings for each other, or whatever the case might be, now that it's been so freaking long. You know what I mean? Like, they've been building this up for a while now, and the hand touching is chef's kiss for sure. Oh my God. And Yang is rubbing off on Blake. She's corrupting her already. She's already dropping the puns. I cannot believe, dude. She's like, oh my God. She hit her with the disarming. And I'm like, no, you did it. But yeah, Yang is known for the puns, but now Blake is dishing them out, and I'm like, it's too late. We lost her, boys. But yeah, I loved this. This was really great. This was wholesome. I know a lot of people that were freaking out when I was actually pretty shocked too. I was like, oh shit, they're actually going for it. So yeah, this moment was great between them two. Pretty short, sweet, gives you a lot to expect or hope for by the end of the volume, because it seems like there's 8 episodes left, and they only need to focus on these 4 characters, and to an exception, Jean and Neo whenever they come up. But like, this is the most character focused volume for these 4, because you don't have the plot, you don't have the relics, you don't have Ozpin, you don't have the gods and Salem and the maidens and all that stuff. You can really just kind of double down on what you need to get through with these characters before they go back. Like, you need these characters to be who they need to be before they leave this place. So getting their feelings out there, figuring out their resolve and figuring out who they are and what they are, and like not being staggered or like basically like caught at a crossroads when things get tough, like the fall of Atlas. This is what they need, because like right now none of them I feel like are in the shape they need to be in for Vacuo and 3 out of 4 relics and the last potential maiden they need. You know what I mean? So they kind of need this moment to recalibrate and figure shit out. So yeah. Again, great scene overall. Really liked this shot too. Or this scene, or this conversation rather. Blake and Yang in their own little world. It was this scene here that I started to feel, and I kind of misinterpreted the vibe initially. So Weiss is basically talking about how she feels like they failed. She has no home to go to. She left Atlas for her new home Beacon. That place gets destroyed. She's forced back home, leaves that place, goes back to that place, it gets destroyed, and so she's back to square one. Actually sucks. Like, actually sucks for her. Like, wherever Weiss goes, you know, I don't mean to be that guy, but wherever Weiss goes, death, destruction, and mayhem soon follow after. You know, I'm just saying, I'm just calling it like it is. All right, I'm presenting nothing but facts, no printer. Okay, straight facts, no printer. Where's the lie? Tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, she's the new Crow. Oh damn. But like the thing here is, she says that, and RWBY takes it upon herself, when she probably is not in the right state of mind to do so. But RWBY voluntarily takes on Weiss's grieving. And she takes on Weiss's venting, essentially, just to kind of talk about stuff. And she's trying to be uplifting. But at the same time, they're not making eye contact. I don't think they looked at each other once. RWBY was just looking at the ground the whole time. We didn't see Weiss's facial expressions. We saw the shot from her from behind. We saw the shot from her from like the waist up. But neither of them are It's almost kind of like they're both kind of lying to each other. Like, not lying to each other, but like Weiss is explaining how she feels. She feels like they did all of this for nothing, and the plan didn't fall through, and her home's gone, and a bunch of people are dead, and the kingdom's gone and all that. RWBY, here, she's got no hope. She didn't even have enough hope to fill up that jar that's coming up pretty soon. But, like, it's almost like RWBY is lying, and it's telling her, like, she's being a friend, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, let me push this false hope onto you so you can be good, because I'm not doing so hot right now, and the last thing I need is to have somebody else put more stuff on me. And that's not the thing. Weiss wasn't like trauma dumping or anything. She was just expressing herself, and RWBY took it upon herself to voluntarily try to build her up when she's not even in a position to really say those things and mean it, which is like step one of where I feel like things like the burden is starting to be a little overbearing for her. You know what I mean? And her body language says it all. Reserved, head down, no eye contact, just saying things. You know what I mean? She's just like, you did the best you can do, Weiss. And it's like, okay, that might be true, but like, it's going to take more than that to convince her. And then after Weiss says all of that, you know what I mean? It sucks, because in my head, I'm like, she just found out that Penny died. She hasn't had any time to cope with that. She's had no time to process it. They're still trying to find out how to get out of here. And then on top of taking on what Weiss is saying to her and trying to be supportive in some way, she's making it worse for herself, because she's adding more to the pile when like the support system of that freaking table is just fucking starting to shake right now. And it just sucks, because it's like, there's no one, like, Weiss says all that, and then she acknowledges, you know, I feel like, you know, I know how much Penny meant to you. I know that was a lot to hear. And then RWBY, then you hear the fucking thunder crackling in the sky, and it's basically like a storm is coming. All right? And it's going to rain on RWBY's parade this entire volume. And I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to say, like, Weiss is wrong for doing that, but I feel like somebody... And no, you know what? It's hard, because Yang even tried to last chapter, right? She found out Penny died. She fainted. She came back to. Yang was like, "Are you okay?" And RWBY immediately just cut her, like, just freaking closed herself off. She was like, "Neo attacked me while we were falling." Didn't even acknowledge what she, like, you know what I mean? Like, she's just not opening up to anybody, which is the worst, because she's never needed to, you know what I mean? She's always kept on trucking. And for the first time, she's going to find out what happens when you just kind of, you know, bury things deeper and deeper and deeper. That shit always finds a way back to the surface. So, yeah, this was just a vulnerable moment for both of them. I feel like it did help Weiss somewhat, but it didn't help RWBY, because RWBY just didn't even really talk. She was just like, "You did what you thought you could do was best, Weiss," and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about Penny. I know how much she meant to you." And RWBY's like, "Yeah, I don't even want to have this conversation. Let's keep moving," you know? So I like the direction they're going with, but I don't like what it's potentially... A part of me likes what it'll do with RWBY, because I feel like RWBY needs this development, but at the same time, I just don't know if she's... I don't know if she's strong enough to make it through that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just curious. I'm just shocked. I'm just worried about what that's going to put her through. You know, I have faith that she'll make it through, but it's not going to be easy. That's what really comes down to for me. I'm just like, this is what I want, but the process is building up in a way that I'm really worried about what the end result's going to look like. Oh my God. And if she has a complete alternate, like, reality change, that's like the ultimate copium right there. Like, imagine... I can't even imagine what that would be like. Your life is so bad you'd rather be a different person? That's scary. Who are we but our memories? Who are we but our experiences? You know, that's like some scary, like, existential crisis type shit of, like, living a life that you don't remember. And so, like, for me, I'm just really worried about how that's gonna change RWBY and how they're gonna be able to bring her back if that's something that she does. She's gonna have to have a talk with Volume 1 RWBY, like the person that wanted all of this to begin with, you know? So, yeah, they're doing a really good job with RWBY. Like, I'm so invested in where they're gonna take her, like, so much more after this episode than when I started it. So yeah, and this was a great scene too, because this kind of expresses at least my so I feel like everyone's interpretation of this was different. Also, thank you to the 400 concurrent viewers we have for the stream right now. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Before we jump into my thought process, Remnant Star, thank you for the $10 super chat. The imaginary and the imagery, if the knight in the flames could be Jean shedding his identity. In a sense, Jean Arc dying in the flames refers to his inspiration. Yeah, I should have mentioned that in my discussion last week. But yeah, the flames of Jean being in the fire is a reference, or could be seen as a reference, to Joan of Arc burning at the stake. And could be Jean, like, burning away his old self and, like, taking on the new identity. It could also symbolize Jean dying here, for all we know, you know, because that's how Joan of Arc died. So yeah, they can take this a lot of ways. I interpreted this shot as, like, Weiss, Blake, and Yang, for the most part, I kind of all on the same page, you know? Like, they're all kind of, they're not going through it. And there's, the magic number of RWBY is 4. 4 characters, 4 relics, 4 maidens, you know what I mean? Like, 4 per team, and there's 3 birds here, and I feel like the missing bird is representing RWBY, and she's just not even here, dude. She's literally elsewhere. She's literally on another planet, figuratively speaking, of course. But yeah, I'm just interested to see, like, that's how I interpret this. I don't know if you guys did. I feel like I've seen different thoughts of what this meant for some people, but that's what I thought. I thought it was just emphasizing that RWBY is not with the rest of her team right now. But yeah. But meanwhile, moving on with the plot, we make it to the end of the acre, and it's very interesting. I don't know if this applies to just Little, but my thought process here, and I mentioned this point in my reaction as well, is that I don't want to say it's forbidden or anything, but it is not I don't think it's very common that individuals from one acre travel to another acre, especially since they are physically divided off from one another. And I didn't know that. Like, I know that they were divided like mismatched jigsaw puzzle pieces in the overhead shot that we saw of it, but I actually thought it was going to be like a transitional, like one hop to like from one foot to the next of like going. I didn't know like a bridge separated these acres from each other, which kind of makes me wonder if it's like not very custom for people to travel. But then again, they said that what's his name did that. They said that Jinxie did that. They said, Jinxie travels to all of these acres. So I don't know how common it is. Like Little is like, I've never been this far from home, and he's a mouse, so it's a little different. But I wonder how often individuals from one acre travel to another acre, Yeah, also that bridge is kind of scuffed, so I don't know what that's all about. I mean, again, it could just represent the acres, like down to the middle, and then it becomes like regal because that's like the king's kingdom, and then it's a riggedy bridge because it represents the tropical side of things. So that could just be an acre inspiration up to the middle point. So yeah. Also, Aeon Productions, thank you for the $5 donation. This episode was just RWBY and Weiss. No good. Wait. This episode was just RWBY and Weiss. No good. Very bad day, man. They are just having a terrible time, and I feel bad for them both. Yeah, I mean, everyone's going through it, in different ways. I feel like it's going to catch up to Weiss. I'm sorry, I feel like it will catch up to Blake. Blake's having those moments right now where she's like, we're not following the book. This is causing me so much stress and anxiety. And like for Yang, I feel like Yang will have her moment in this volume 2 of like regression a little bit. So yeah. But yeah, so this entire shot right here, the bottom shot was great with Little. He's like, you know what? I can't go back home, and I've never been this far, so I think I'm just going to start a new life here by myself. And this is a great GIF, by the way. This is just a really great GIF. I've already seen like GIFs of this going around on Twitter, like the same day the episode came out. But when OSHA doesn't exist, everything is a safety violation. Oh my gosh. Hey, for Brian Peoples, if to anyone, you included, if you guys have never seen, I highly recommend you guys watch the Unraveled video where Brian David Gilbert goes through every OSHA violation for Super Smash Brothers stages. It is so entertaining. It is so funny. And every time I hear about OSHA, I think about that video, and it makes me want to watch that video. But yeah, just look up Super Smash Brothers OSHA violation. It's such an entertaining video, and I want to take this time to use my platform to promote that video because it's very, very funny and very entertaining, and I love it very much. But yeah, so great GIF overall. Everyone, Blake is just like, oh my God. And Weiss again is just not having it. I think her eyes twitching too. I don't know if her eyes twitching, but it looks like it is. But yeah. This is great, man. I am the biggest simp for the Forever Falls setting in RWBY. I cannot wait until we go back to Beacon and Vale, because the chances of seeing Volume 1 settings in the latest, like, engine for the latest volume whenever we get there is going to be so rewarding. Forever Falls is my favorite location in RWBY. I was freaking out when we saw little tiny glimpses of it during the Volume 5 character short with Blake. She was in the Forever Falls. Actually, no, the Adam character short was the most recent one, because like Adam and Blake were talking like at one of the headquarters within the Forever Falls location. And you could see like the red forest in the background. I was like, oh my God, that's Forever Falls in the Maya engine. But I actually want to see like the whole ass forest. and I want to see them in the forest, and I want to see them reminisce about getting the tree sap and the freaking giant Ursa Major and saving Cardin, like, and obviously Pyrrha and all that other stuff. But like, I really, really, really can't wait to see that location, and this is the closest thing we have to it right now. So, so yeah, I just love the color. I also love the complementary color of the sky for this. Also, it seems like there's a different colored sky for each of the, actually, I'm not sure. I don't know if there was a green sky in the tropical biome. I don't think there was. But, like, green and red are really great complementary colors, so I like how they went with the lime green sky with the deep red, with, like, the bright, like, vibrant, deep red color of the town and the forest. Did we even see that? Yeah, we did. I think the tropic was yellow because you see the sun or the two moons or whatever they are. So, yeah, so it was yellow in the tropic area and it's green here. And again, I think it's great for the complementary. It complements the red really, really well. Yeah, they were suns. Everyone thought they were suns, and then in the script it said they were moons, but then they changed them to suns, so I'm just like, you know what? I don't know anymore, bro. But yeah, I just really loved that location. And we get the Toy Town! This is so... This might actually be my favorite location, even if we see the other ones. The only other town, the only other acre that I think I'd like better than this one... Oh, it's so hard. Would be like the nighttime forest, like the mushroom forest at night. Actually, it's not even at night. I feel like the forest is so thick that no light can get through it, realistically. I think that's what it encompasses more than it being a forest at night. But I loved this, man. I loved this so much. Like, you see all of the little, like, civilians and whatnot. They're all basically little, like, board game pieces. Like literally out of like Candyland or like like some of the civilians, like the yellow ones, look like little Lego pieces, like little Lego civilians. So like I just love this place, this little toy town, and there's a lot of like references to like childhood games too, if you guys didn't notice. So first and foremost, we have the birthday. By royal decree of His Majesty, the preeminent birthday party of his most royal is hereby announced. And I think this is a reference to the unbirthday party of like the Alice in Wonderland series, which basically implies everybody has one birthday once a year. And then like the Mad Hatter and the freaking the marching hare and the Dormouse and all of them, they celebrate the next 364 days are unbirthdays. So they have an unbirthday party, which is every day that it's not your birthday, it's your unbirthday. And so it's just an excuse to get together to like drink and have tea and cake and, you know, just freaking pop off and have fun and all that. And so I think that's what it could be a reference to. Like the Red Queen is gender bent in this story, so it's the Red King. And it's his birthday. They do that every day? Yeah. Well, they do it 364 days a year. 365 days, I guess, on leap year. But yeah, basically, they have a unbirthday tea party every day. No, every day until the day of your birth, which is fucking crazy. Mad as a hatter, if you will. But you know, that's the vibe. A very happy unbirthday to you, exactly. So I just like how... Also, it's very interesting that Tweedledee and Tweedledum will most likely not be in here because they were actually referenced as characters during Volume 6. Dee and Dudley were inspirations for Tweedledee and Tweedledum. So it's interesting that they opted to not have them in this fairy tale story. And then, like, one of them dies, and then one of them, like, breaks their arm. And then it's like, yeah, we're never seeing those guys again. So yeah, but everybody else is there. The white hare, the white rabbit, the Cheshire cat, the Red Queen, her soldiers, the Mad Hatter, Alice, Little. I don't know who the marching hare could be, cause like we've only seen one rabbit, unless the marching hare represents the rabbit with Jean, but the time and the white rabbit with Jean is too closely referencing the white hare. Because then I was going to say maybe the marching hare. No, because she's Alec. I don't know. They might not use every character. There's nothing that says they need to. But yeah, I'm just like, if there's something missing, I'm going to mention it. I'm just like, the marching hare is the one that's a little off. I mean, Jean could be the marching hare because the Pumpkin Pete. Because there's already a white rabbit, technically. So Jean could be the marching hare. You know, his Pumpkin Pete armor, if we end up seeing it. But yeah, so I wanted to show off that, and I wanted to show off some of the, not fairy tale, but just some of like the childhood, like nursery rhymes and things of that nature for those who might not have seen it. So one of them, as they're walking by a couple of stores in this plaza area, and they come across Cribbage Baby and Nursery Store. And I actually looked this up, but Cribbage is a card game that originated in England, I think in like the 16th, 17th century. It was a very old like card game, and it originated in England, and I think they used that as like the name, at least Cribbage. That's what the card game is called, and it's a reference to like nursery store, like it's a baby in nursery, which is again referencing probably like nursery rhymes as well. And then they have this other one here, which I assume is dominoes, flooring, and tiles. You know what I mean? Because like dominoes, you place them down. So that's the second one. I actually liked these next two here. So behind RWBY is a shoe store. It's called Tic Tac Toe Shoe Wear. It's kind of hard to see because it's you don't see the whole sign because it's always blocked by something, but that's the closest I can get to. So they had a Tic Tac Toe Shoe Wear shop, and then they had patty cakes, which is probably the closest one you can see, like patty cake, bakers, man, bake them a cake as fast as you can, etc., etc. Which I loved. I loved how this is like a toy and nursery rhyme, like childhood game setting. I think it's really, really cool. They have so much source material to work with too, by the way. It's actually crazy. Like RWBY can just kind of go anywhere when it comes to like creating inspirations of locations. They're like, all right, let's dig up something else from the past and make it new again. But yeah, that's basically like a bakery for patty cakes, which I really liked. Patty cakes is an awesome name for a bake. Exactly. Actually, it is. Patty cakes. I wonder. Oh man, someone should like take that name. Unless it's like, I don't. That's in public domain, right? It's not copyrighted, is it? I don't know. But yeah, it's I love this place. I love this little toy town section so much. You guys have no idea. But yeah, and then we're moving into the second plot, which is the auction, the altercation at the auspicious auction. So you have like these little toy guards, which is, you know, they're basically based on the red and black card suits, which is the guards of the Red Queen and the Alice storyline, or the Disney one. Now, I'm not coming down with the flu. I don't know. I'm just kind of like not feeling myself right now. So I apologize for the sniffles. Give me 1 second. Let me just double check this right here. Okay. But yeah, so in the book, they basically mention that she has to barter with Jinxie to get whatever it is she wanted back. Can we just talk about that too, by the way? Let's transition here real quick. Can we talk about the items this man wants from these people? Because it's very sus that he wants these very, like, emotionally driven, like, values that really come from, like, the essence of a person. He wanted Alex's happiest and saddest memory. He wanted what it's like to feel loved from Yang. And he wanted a jar of hope from RWBY. And it's so weird. Like, what? Like, these are like, realistically, he wants priceless he wants priceless returns for like things that you can put a value on. Like, you want this like rinky dink arm? you better give me all your hopes and dreams. You know what I mean? It's like, this is a devious raccoon right here, bro. This is actually why I'm like, bro, you're getting scammed 100 times over. And on top of that, you're not even getting the item you think you're getting. So it's like, and then on top of that, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with Ruby's hopes and dreams? You gonna spread them out into the freaking ocean? You know, school in a nutshell. Damn. Yeah, they want they want hugs and rainbows, dude. You know, because like what I want to know is if Alex ended up getting her weapon back, did she like what did Jinxie do with her happiest and saddest memory? Like what the hell? What did he do with it? You know, it's like it's just weird that like what value would Jinxie get out of these things that he's asking for? Is just my thought process. And how do you? It's like it's like a power source. I don't know. It's crazy. Wait, Jinxie's voiced by Jellopocalypse? Really? Wait, can I get a confirmation on that? Oh my god. Isn't that the guy who did the so this is basically RWBY? Oh my god, that is so cool. He roasted the hell out of RWBY though, but no, I didn't know. I did not know. I didn't look at the credits. I didn't look at the credits to see who voiced the new characters. What? That's cool. Yeah, I remember doing a reaction to that video a while, what was it, volume 7? He turned me into a bird, RWBY. Also, we can't forget the fabled mommy salami. We owe this man so much. Oh man, it's been years since I don't really watch Jellopocalypse. The only 2 videos I've ever watched was so this is basically RWBY and so this is basically Persona 5. But that's so sick. What an honor, man. What an honor. I can't even imagine, bro. Like damn, voicing in RWBY. That's so dope. And I think that video was also sponsored by Rooster Teeth at the time too, which was even better. You know what I mean? It's not like, you know, it's like we take offense to you saying bad things about our show. Not even bad things, just like roasting it. You know, everyone likes a good roast. If you can't laugh at yourself, I don't know what to tell you, my dude. Yeah. Brendan Blatter? Is that how you say that? Is that how you say their name? Why is my name spelled with a Q? Because it's RWBY, okay? It's cool. All right, where appropriate, you replace letters like Q. You replace appropriate letters with Y and Q and X, and you're cool automatically. All right, like Crow and Alex. I don't make the rules, guys. Yeah, replace Y with E and replace C and K with Q and you're good. We should know RWBY has no hope because she was walking with the team in the opening. She gets more and more distant. Yeah, well, he doesn't know that. You know what I mean? Like, it's very evident that after what RWBY was just went through, I'd be shocked if she had any hope left to give, but it's clear why RWBY wasn't able to give it. But let's jump into the episode. So first off, one thing that I want to compliment really quick is whoever did the VFX for this. Praise you. I can't imagine how long that shit took to put together, but it looks really dope. Like the confetti, like the purple mist and confetti in there too. It just looks really good. Jinxie. I really like this character. I don't think this is the last time we're gonna see them either, because they might have, you know, they're around. They're a character within the plot, so we might actually see them if we're trying to learn more about Alex potentially. And this is where Blake mentions that he's a lot older than he was in the book, so it implies that Alex's story took place a long ass time ago, like probably I almost said hundreds of years, decades ago maybe, or you know, however many years where it shows a significant, you know, a significant break in age. But yeah, so we have some trinkets here. We got 3 of them. We have a gold scepter, a diamond-studded rabbit, and a jade marionette. And I will say, I did not realize that Penny's sword... I'll be completely honest with you, too. I haven't seen the Volume 9 trailers as often as I probably would have in any other time before the volume came out. I watched the trailer, the first trailer that they dropped. I watched it a couple of times after it came out during RTX. And then the latest trailer that they came out with before the volume aired, I watched that like a couple of times after my reaction. But I completely forgot that at some point, Ruby does get reacquainted with Penny's sword. But after Blake mentioned that the items are disguised as other items, I only applied, because of this plot, I only applied it to this gold scepter. I was like, oh, okay, so that's clearly Yang's arm, right? And I didn't even stop and think that the green marionette, which, by the way, marionette, Penny being a puppet, 2 and 2 together, I was like, oh my God. That was so clever. Went right over my head, bro. I was literally like head empty, only Yang's arm was what I was thinking about. But yeah, I was just, and then Ruby, see, and I'll explain my reasoning for that too. I thought that the gold scepter was so obvious that it could be Yang's arm that I was like, it's too obvious, so I don't think that's it. And then when Ruby noticed the marionette, I was like, oh, maybe that's Yang's arm instead. Because the gold one was so obvious. And I thought I was getting jebaited. But I basically jebaited myself. I was like, I'm not fault. I tried to reverse Uno Ruby and I got Uno reversed myself. And I looked like an idiot. But yeah, that's the cold honest truth, guys. I did an oopsie. But yeah, it was great because another thing too, I was wondering what the diamond studded rabbit was because I was like, what's that a disguise of? And it's so weird. Anyways, I'll get into that for sure. But yeah, so Yang's looking for her arm, and it's also mentioned too that again, the arms are disguised as other things, which is probably where Jinxie gets his name. He's the Jinxie peddler, so he jinxes his items and he peddles them off to people. So maybe that's why that's his name. You know, again, it's what he does. It's what he's good at. He's a raccoon, so he's sly. No pun intended for Sly Cooper, but basically. Hey, it's almost like they were onto something with that game. A con artist raccoon. Damn. But yeah, so again, I thought this was too good. I was like, bro, it's yellow. It's colored like Yang's arm. I feel like if I say that that's Yang's arm and I expect that to be Yang's arm, it's not going to be Yang's arm because of how in-your-face obvious it is. So I doubled down and I was like, nah, bro. Ruby's picking up on this freaking little green. Didn't even think about the green either. I was just like, this jade freaking figurine. And I was like, that has to be Yang's arm to like offset it. And Ruby's picking up on it and everyone else isn't. And boy, was I wrong. Yeah, I fumbled the bag on that one. And yeah, can we just talk about how Jinxie potentially kidnapped one of those mice from the tropical acre? Is no one else going to talk about that? I understand that when Little was like, oh, he never steals. He just takes things when we're not looking. And in my head, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. He takes like one man's trash is another man's treasure. Okay, that makes sense. You don't want it, I'll take it off your hands. But then when the freaking diamond-studded rabbit, like the jig is up and it kind of reverts back, it's a mouse, like a living, breathing mouse eating a piece of cheese. And I'm like, did you just mouse snap this guy? And moreover than that, what happens to their consciousness? Like, what are they okay, right? Like, are they okay in this phase? Did you just did you just put their entire consciousness into like a stasis? Do they even know what's going on? Like, I'm actually like perplexed at the moment. He literally just, they took the village idiot. That's what they did. You know, like how everyone's got like a village idiot? The one person that if you take them, they won't be missed. It was that guy. And they were like, you know what? Easy clap. I can make a come up off this guy. Diamond studded. I'll make a fortune. All I want is a, and here's the worst part. Here's the worst part, guys. He wanted not even a material possession. He wanted a hug for someone's life. Are you so touch-starved and devoid of love and hugs from your parents growing up that you have to kidnap someone and pawn them off to some freaking Roblox Lego-looking ass person to feel the warm embrace of a hug in 2023? Like what the hell is happening in this place, dude? I'm like, you robbed somebody in the dead of night for a hug. I don't know, man. I feel called out. Moving on. I'm not touching that one. Potato J, thank you for the $10 super chat. I don't know about anyone here, but when Weiss was like, which one is Yang's arm? Certified. Certified Dora the Explorer moment. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. Oh man. It's right. It's true. Oh man, do you see Swiper? Where's Swiper? It's like, it's right behind you, you stupid kid. Oh man, that was too good. I wasn't expecting that. Certified Dora moment. Oh. Oh my God. I was not ready, bro. That literally caught me off guard. Oh. Damn, jinxie, no jinxing. Oh, fuck off, man. That is so funny. This guy's so happy. Look at him. He's like beside himself with excitement. He's like shaking in his boots. He's like, oh my God, I'm gonna get it for a hug. And it's like, damn, bro. Oh man, that is so fucking funny. I want to talk about something, like something that I noticed in this episode and that I mentioned in my discussion portion of my reaction that is actually kind of alarming. And I don't know what the implications are. I don't know if I'm coping, but we got to talk about Little real quick, okay? We got to talk about Little. So, at the beginning of this episode, Weiss was recounting the events of things that were happening leading up to where they were. She says, we fell from the sky, RWBY made friends with a talking mouse. And then Little says, friends. Fast forward. This moment, Little is addressing how valuable hugs are. And even hugs Ruby's hair. I can't help but feel like those two instances give me big Penny vibes. Penny was RWBY's friend. She's got a song named after her called Friend. And the first thing that Penny says after becoming a real girl is, do hugs always make you this warm inside? And she hugged all of Team RWBY. I don't know what they're doing here, but I almost feel like Little is the little bit of hope that RWBY has left. Pun intended. And it's like Penny just died and then she just met Little, and it feels too coincidental for all of those things to just happen. You know, they just happen. I'm not saying that Little is like a freaking reincarnation of Penny. Literally the moment she dies, she's freaking like, you know, everyone here who has died was once a maid. No, I'm not. Maybe I'm suggesting that, but no. Or they could be. You never know. You know, what happens to a maiden when they die? We know what happens to their aura, but what happens to them? You know what I mean? But yeah, I couldn't help. I'm just like, I don't know if there's something there. I don't know if there's something like deeper, or if that's just like a parallel to represent like Penny was this amazing individual that like brought RWBY so much joy and happiness, and she dies, and then like RWBY's got nothing, and then she finds this little semblance of hope. You know, and it's been following her ever since, and it's going to go on this journey with RWBY, and it's going to see her transformation and how she evolves. And I actually feel like by the end of this journey, by the time Team RWBY and company actually gets out of here, I feel like Little might actually understand what a name is as like as a form of like an identity for yourself more than a purpose. I wouldn't be surprised if Little names themselves. All the mice are former maidens. I actually thought that. I was like, imagine? But then does that mean they all have to be women? You know, because maidens can only be women. But I don't know. I don't know, man. They're trying to, they're saying something, bro. They're saying something. I just don't know what it is. Or female rats, I should say. Little semblance is hope. I don't know. I'm just saying that they're giving a lot of quality traits to Little that reminds me of Penny. And the number one thing is that she's attached to RWBY by her cape at this point, you know? Seasonal Mises. Seasonal Mousins. Jeez. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting, and I wanted to mention that. I just don't know what what's Little's purpose, right? Is Little just here to be like the cute factor? You know what I mean? Like the, oh my gosh, he's so cute, I love him so much, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what Little's purpose is. Little doesn't even know what Little's purpose is, but I feel like by the end of the volume, it's going to be solidified, and it might have a lot more to do with RWBY than Little might be the one that gets through to RWBY if she kind of has this identity crisis. You know what I mean? Little's purpose is to Little. Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know. And Here's another thing too, and I'm gonna say this because it needs to be said. I know Rooster Teeth, or I forgot where they mentioned this. I think it was on Twitter or something, but no. I think it was the commentary. I think it was the Volume 8 commentary. I don't remember. I know they also did a Discord thing for the first chapter, but apparently the the people that died from Cinder that like got blown up and their corpses fell into the Ever After. They said that those people died, and so they're not here. So what does that mean for inanimate objects versus deceased people's bodies? You know, like corpses. Because Penny's sword made it to the Ever After. But does that then mean that Penny's corpse, like, does that mean Penny's body just, like, disintegrated into the Ever After and is now, like, gone? You know what I mean? Because living people made it, inanimate things made it, but like deceased things apparently don't make it. No, I don't think Penny's coming back. Or maybe not the Penny we know. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that, like... And if she gets reincarnated, it won't be her. At least I hope not. And we won't know. And I hope they keep it ambiguous enough that there's no confirmation. But I wouldn't want them to. Yeah. But, I mean, that wasn't my point. That wasn't what I was getting at. I just saw someone mention it. But, yeah, no, this actually makes me a lot more interested in learning about Little, just as much about RWBY's development. And, like, I wonder why hugs are so valuable. Like, it's like, oh, hugs are very valuable. And it's like, really? You know what I mean? Like, when's the last time you got a hug? But yeah, I just thought it was a very interesting mention, and I decided to bring it up because I feel like Penny was and is pivotal to RWBY's development, and so I just saw a lot of Penny parallels with Little, and I decided to just mention it. And if it goes somewhere, I'll be sure to keep an eye out. This is another thing that was very interesting too, actually. I completely misinterpreted this scene when I first watched it, by the way. So, the second item is the Golden Scepter. And apparently the freaking... The soldiers had first dibs on it, even though it got robbed from Yang. And Jinxie knows that it got robbed, which is why Jinxie was like, I'm not giving it to her. I freaking just yoinked that off of her. I'm trying to make a come up. But... his wager is the bidding starts at what it essentially says the bidding starts at what it means to feel loved. And Yang hesitates here. And I completely misinterpreted the bartering, the whole bartering system here. It's easy to give a hug because it's right there, it's between two people, and then it's done. But I thought Yang's hesitation was because Yang didn't truly know what it was like. I actually thought this was a Raven moment. I'll be completely honest with you. I thought she was interpreting she lacks what it means to feel loved from her mom. And so she's not able to properly reciprocate it in exchange for her arm back. That's how I interpreted it. But what this is actually implying is if you give up what it means to feel, to be loved, you will never know what it means. Like, she has to give up that feeling. So she won't know what it's like to love her mom, to love Blake, to love RWBY, if she gives it up in exchange for her arm back. Like, it's not worth it. That's why she hesitated. Meanwhile, these guys are just like freaking walking toys. They don't give a shit. And it's like, you know what? Whatever he wants for the king's birthday. You know what I mean? I think that's what I think that's what the cause of Yang's hesitation was more than that, because you have to give it up. It's easy to give up a hug. Like, you can give those out all day if you want. Free hugs. You know, people wear those shirts and those signs all the time. Alex had to give up her happiest and saddest memory, which implies that she could have gone the rest of her life without knowing what, like, she'll live forever without, like, a proper barometer of knowing, like, the happiest thing that she's ever experienced and the saddest thing. They'll always be fucking mid. You know what I mean? Like, she'll only have, like, mid experiences because she'll never be able to remember the happiest and saddest because she gave it up in return for her dagger. So I feel like that's what it was, this scene was getting across. It's like Yang values what it means to be loved more than her arm, and she can't part with something as precious and priceless as that. So that's what I think it interprets more, because Raven is one person. Ruby knows what it's like to be loved by Tai Yang, by her sister, by her team, by her dad. Like, Yang knows these feelings. They don't start and end at Raven Branwyn. You know what I mean? So I do feel like it came from, like, the fundamental sense of loving and knowing what it's like to be loved. Did I say dad twice? Sorry. I meant, yeah, her dad, her mom. Yeah, I think I meant to say her mom. Like, Summer Rose, Tai Yang, Ruby, Blake, Weiss, etc., etc. So, yeah. I just thought for some reason, like, Yang has mommy issues, kinda. You know what I mean? And I felt like in a moment like this, where you're reflecting, if someone brings up, like, oh, do you know what it's like to be loved? I feel like the first thing that would conflict with that, you would think of, like, the first thing that you struggle with in that regard, which is, I struggle to have, like, a loving relationship with my mother because she left me. That's what I thought it was, at least. So I don't think it's that. I think it's more so that she decided, like what I said before, like, she wants to be able to know what it's like to be loved in the future, and it's not worth her arm. So yeah. And likewise, when it went to Ruby and the jar, it was hard for her because she's got no hope. The difference is, I don't think it would, like, even Jinxie noticed. He's like, oh, you don't have enough, do you? You know what I mean? She didn't have any hope to give. Yang didn't want to part with the love that she wanted to feel. And that random Roblox dude just gave a free hug because why not, you know? And Blake had nothing to gain from that. So, you know, Blake didn't try her luck and Weiss didn't either. No, to an extent, yeah, someone in chat says, I feel like the whole cast has mommy issues, except, someone says, except Blake. Not necessarily. Like, Blake has reconciled with her mom, but they all did when we first met them. Like, she basically talked shit to her mom and dad about leaving the White Fang, and she was on bad terms with them, which is why the second she went back home, she was shocked that her family, like, still loved her and cared about her and, you know, welcomed her with open arms. Like, she felt super guilty about that. It was never Kali having a problem with Blake. It was Blake had a problem with her parents. And so that creates a rift regardless. Ruby's mom's been dead. Weiss's mom's an alcoholic. And Yang's mom ran out on her. So yeah. And then Mommy Salami basically, like, killed all of her kids in a fight with her husband. So that's a whole other problem. Anyways, let us carry on. Did anyone think this was Zwei when the trailer first came out? Please say yes. I need this right now. All right, please say yes. Please don't say I was the only one. Yes? Okay, good. I can sleep. I can finally sleep easy at night knowing that I wasn't the only one. Come on, man. You didn't think this was Zwei? Like, look at the face. We haven't seen Zwei in ages, but still. Okay, let me ask you this then. Can you see how this could be interpreted as Zwei, even if you didn't see it as Zwei at the time? Say yes. You better say it. Don't fucking lie to me. Nope. Okay, you know what, Dan? You know what? You're too nice. I can't go there. Okay. All right, good. Rocket Raccoon, LOL, JK. The eyes are wrong. How do you even remember Zwei's eyes, all right? We haven't seen Zwei in ages. And don't give me that. We saw him in that, like, 3-second shot of Volume 8's freaking message to the world. I don't know, okay? We didn't see Zwei since Volume 4, okay? Don't give me that nonsense. Anyways. There's seeing him, and then there's actually seeing him, all right? And there's a difference. And if you don't think there is, I don't know what to tell you. I feel bad for you. Anyways, let's carry on. Ruby's turn. And Ruby's got no hope. Ruby's hurting, dude. The last thing she's got right now is any hope. And why would you want to give that hope up? You know, so even if she had hope, I'd be like, bro, I kind of need that to save the world. I'm the main anime protagonist of this story. Thank you very much. So it just sucks both ways because it's like, I don't have it. And even if I did, I wouldn't be able to give it to you. But yeah, Volume 8, the pure antithesis of hope. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy. You know what? I started watching this show back in the summer of 2013. I remember it like it was yesterday because I'm old and I can remember things that far back. I'd like to think I had an influence in shaping the trajectory of this show in more ways than one. There's very few times where I feel like I can take proper credit for the things that I do, the things that I say, and, you know, how I continue to express my love and passion for the show. Let's not forget the clip-on tie Jacques Schnee that went on to revolutionize and have everybody big mad at your boy because he called something out years after it was already there, okay? Volume 4 clip-on tie Jacques Schnee. I call it after Volume 7, and everyone wants to freaking come at me saying that I'm influencing the show, all right? If the man wasn't wearing a clip-on tie for 4 goddamn years, maybe I wouldn't have said anything. Take it up with them, not me. But why we're here, why am I getting on my soapbox? Because last year, I made a theory. I made an explanation video on Penny's aura, the creation of her body through the relic of creation and Ambrosius. And for those who don't remember, I did this. And it's actually... And I actually still have it. I used the video to help explain to people how Team RWBY and company were able to take Penny's aura out of the mechanical robot and force Ambrosius to create a human vessel for the aura so it wouldn't be destroyed. And I used a jar, and I used these glow-in-the-dark green bouncy balls to represent Penny's aura. And what do these people do? Nearly 2 years later, they watch the video and they're like, I'm gonna be a bit cheeky. And they take an empty jar and they mirror the marionette, the jade marionette, to look like Penny is inside of the jar. I rest my case. Your opinion is invalid. Don't care, didn't ask. Nobody asked you. I'm not taking any criticism. I did that. All right? I did it, and I don't want to hear it. I did that, dude. All right? Volume 8 was 2 years ago, god damn it. And your boy stays winning. I don't know what to tell you. Haters be mad. That's all I know. All right, chat, really quick. What's one thing you actually want to happen in RWBY, and I'll make it happen? I got my pen and paper right here. I got my phone. It's on speed dial. All right, let's go. I need some actual bangers for volume 10. That Ciao Soleil. Yep. Bro, that's at the top of the list. Don't play games with me. Time dilation, yo. All right, time dilation. Actually, you know what? I'm probably gonna take him to court for that one. They've been holding out on us for way too long. I've had enough. Professor Peach, she's at another school. We'll see her eventually, maybe, kind of, sort of. Can you bring back Glinda Goodwitch? I already put in my freaking work with that, all right? I gave you guys 5 seconds of her with her updated Maya engine, all right? Y'all are asking for too much. I'm one man. Sun Wukong, wait till Vacuo. Damn, y'all are asking for things that are gonna happen eventually. The shopkeeper, I gave you him for like 3 seconds in volume 8. You're asking for too much. Bring back Sun's abs. We'll see about that one. That's I'm gonna put an asterisk right there. No promises. Muscular Yang. All right, y'all are just outing yourselves. Y'all are just like, okay, this is actually what I want in the show. Rooster Teeth, you watching this? You probably are. You bastards stealing all my goddamn ideas. I want my royalties. I'm gonna be on the phone with my lawyers Monday morning. I'm giving y'all till Monday morning, okay? I know someone's watching. All right, Eddie, you lurking? You lurking in my chat? God damn it. Can you believe these people? Where's my voice acting line in RWBY? Haven't I contributed enough? You know how many people I've put onto this show since I started watching it? How many Rooster Teeth first memberships I put people onto? Freaking expressing the goat that is RWBY for the last 10 years. Imagine... Oh my god, dude. Imagine doing volunteer work for 10 years and not being properly compensated. Anyways, I'm moving on. Yeah, I just wanted to say that because if I don't, nobody else will. And I need to let people, I need people to remember to put respect on my name. Anyways, let's move on. The jig is up. Everything was undone. Ruby's penny sword. This rat nibbling on some freaking carrot cheese, which literally this freaking rat just got hostile to, like, no, I wouldn't be surprised if they were like in a genjutsu. They were munching away like nothing ever happened to them, and I'm just like, bro, are you okay? You know what I mean? Dude, I can't take you seriously. Well, you know what? I'm not telling you. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. Put some respect on my name. And then Yang's arm, of course. Yeah, and it was at this moment that I was like, oh, that's why it's green. Completely went over my head. I wonder where Jinxie found the sword. Like, obviously, it's irrelevant where he found it. The fact of the matter is we didn't have to spend the whole volume stumbling across it. And, like, you know, it's like, oh, the level of convenience. We just happen to find her sword. Also, I don't think RWBY is finding Crescent Rose. Like, they're literally carrying on with the plot as if, like, as if everything's good. You know, I think that's a good idea overall, but like she needs Crescent Rose before she leaves. Guarantee you they're gonna leave when they go back home. They're gonna leave from the beach where RWBY was, and she's gonna be like, oh, there it is. It's just chilling on the shoreline. But yeah, I don't know why, but whoever voiced the Roblox like Lego looking character, I love the delivery. They're like, it's a fake. Like, they were pissed, bro. They were like, yo, this is some bullshit. I want my hug back. And so Jinxie got exposed in 4K. Like the freaking scam artist they are. And I thought this was a pretty clean shot too. No pun intended. The fact that she actually just fucking shot that dude. And it's just like, another thing too I just want to express is like, it's so funny how these are all just toys. Like, bro, these toys are in hysteria right now. It's like, bro, you are a toy. It's like, you are a toy. Fucking Toy Story. Now I know what freaking Buzz was on about. Like, these toys are acting like this is the worst thing. Like, bro, you're an actual freaking, you're a toy piece that I roll on a board, and you can only move up to 6 spaces at a time per turn. Like, and y'all are like rioting in the streets right now because a man just stole your hug. Also, why is everyone else in the crowd upset? It's like, he only scammed one of you. Actually, he only scammed one of you. Yeah, that child's plaything. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. But yeah, I liked this shot. I thought it was pretty clean. And then I loved this shot, too. Weiss was just like, bro, I've had enough. Weiss, no fucks left to give. She's been pissed off this and actually Big Madge the entire episode. She's like rambling. She's like throwing her fist in the air. She's like, I'll show you, Oz. How dare you? You make me look like a goddamn fool. And then like everybody else is just like, Yang's like living her life. Blake's having a nervous breakdown. Weiss has just had enough. And then RWBY is just realizing, oh, damn, my life just sucks. I'm constantly reminded that one of my best friends got killed. You know? And I love how he has to issue out a refund immediately after. He's like, all right, dude, let's have that hug back, all right? I got... Those hugs don't come cheap, buddy. But, yeah, I feel like, again, he only gave the refund because he got exposed. But it's still funny that he, like, followed up with it. It's like, damn, dude. But, yeah, I thought God, this entire Toy Town section was such a cool scene. I'm glad that they got a moment to explore it. Because, like, even in the intro shows that we're going from the tropical acre to the Toy Town to the Red Kingdom to the forest. And then wherever we go from there is kind of up in the air. But I felt like we were here for a pretty decent amount of time. Also, another thing that I will say, if you look at the road... I didn't grab a specific shot to emphasize this, but if you see the road that, like, Weiss is walking down, they all look like individual board game spaces, which just kind of is, like, the ultimate cherry on top for this place being, like, a board game Toy Town kind of vibe. But I loved this place. It's so freaking cool. It's so dope. Oh, man. It's so funny. Soul Edge, thank you for the $5 super chat. What are your thoughts on RWBY's behavior changing? Do you think she will fall hard to despair, or will they keep it mild? I think it'll be gradual, but when she falls, she's gonna fall and shatter, and that shatter is gonna be in the form of, this pain is too bad, I can't handle it, so she's gonna take the, I don't want to say the easy way out. I would actually say, if she's willing to change her entire identity and start over anew, she must be at such a point where it's unbearable to kind of cope through what she's dealing with, to the point where she doesn't know how. And the alternative is, well, just take it all away. So I think her mental change is going to be like a big jump for us to digest, because I really feel like she's going to be like this loopy, like based on the intro, she looks like she's going to be like this fucking loopy, like fucking crazy individual of some sort. You know what I mean? Like just completely devoid of the Ruby Rose that we've known for the last 10 years, you know? And so, yeah, I think RWBY will scatter, not shatter. Yeah, let's go with scatter. Like her rose petals. She won't be together. It's just everything's all over the place for her, I think. I think that's the vibe they're gonna go with for her. But yeah, also again, just want to give a shout out to the Red Woods, the Red Forest. I love this place so much. If we see it one more time, I will be satisfied, but to see it come and go in the same episode, man, I really want more. I love this locale. And it just makes me want, again, it just makes me want Forever Falls even more, especially when they're in the forest, just kind of chilling for a little bit. But yeah. And then this is where Blake kind of starts losing her head a little bit, you know. Also, the freaking puns are unending. Like, Yang's just like, yo, that was so freaking... High five? High five, anyone? And I'm just like, Yang would do that, bro. Yang would take the opportunity to throw a pun out there just for some shits and giggles. Meanwhile, Blake's just having, like, a mental breakdown because she's like, oh my God, I read all these books. I'm going to be the moral of one. People are going to have to learn to not be like me. I'm not going to be a role model. You know what I mean? Like, her absolute worst fears come true. It's like, that's what happens when you become the team leader, Blake. You know, she has the leadership role, and now she's fumbling the bag. But I liked it. I liked it, though. She's obviously taking this a little bit more seriously as the learned book reader of the gang. But yeah, I just loved the vibe of the episode. The pacing was really good, I felt. Everything just came together really, really, really well for just keeping the plot moving. They didn't stick around anywhere for too long in these first 2 episodes. And I love how all of them got together in the first episode, and now all of them continuously being together works as well. I just wonder... My biggest fear is that with 8 episodes left, you got RWBY's development to flush out. You have potentially Jean and Neo, who have not had any screen time. And from the trailers, we see that at least Neo has a little bit of spotlight, and they're kind of keeping Jean hush-hush. My biggest fear is that they're not going to have enough time to flesh out everyone the way that I hope they will. Like, you got Team RWBY together, which is collectively, like, you can just kind of develop them all simultaneously. But, like, I feel like some of these episodes are going to have to be, like the Lost chapter length, like 20 plus minutes to really feel like we're getting a lot out of some of these characters. Unless they pair Jean and Neo together and then they just develop them simultaneously. Or if, I don't know, I feel like Jean's like a wild card right now. That's like the one thing that I'm wondering. Like, I don't feel like these episodes are rushed. Like, these 2 episodes are good, but we're 2 episodes in. That's fine. But like, I want some of these episodes to like settle. Like, some of these settings too to settle. Like, we have all of these acres and biomes and stuff. I don't think we're getting to all of them. I think most of them are just for show. But you're going to have to, like, settle and, like, take time to develop some of these characters and flesh out some of these plot lines. And it doesn't seem like Alex is here, or at least it doesn't seem like she's here right now. And then that's another character. And then you have these interactions with, like, the caterpillar. The curious cat seems like it's going to be, like, a character like Little. They're going to be along for the journey. I just really, really, really hope that everyone gets their due, because this is the smallest pool of characters you've ever had to deal with. And to have this small of amount of characters and still not be able to let all of them say and do what they need to say and do before they go back to the main plot is going to be really unfortunate. So yeah, that's all I want to say. Like, I liked the pacing of this episode, but if every episode feels like episode 1 and 2, I feel like it's really going to start falling apart. So I'm just hopefully optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic the further we go. But they did say, again, Jeff Yetter confirmed that the episode length will be on average 18 minutes with all 10 chapters. And he did say that some episodes will be longer than that. And I'm really hoping that it's towards the latter half. Like, the penultimate is usually the longest. The finales are usually long. The episode, like the middle of the road volumes, are pretty long. And I just want some more, like, then, like, you really have to talk about the world too. Unless they're gonna wait to go back to Atlas. I'm sorry, unless they wait to go back to Vacuo and, like, Ozpin explains what the Ever After is, and they never get the full explanation here, which I'm completely fine with. Because he's gonna have a lot of explaining to do when he's like, hey, remember that story you mentioned, the girl who fell through the world? Yeah, that's an actual place. Can you explain that to us? I want some explanation of this world. But I wouldn't want it now if it takes away from something else that they can tell that's far more entertaining and far more important to the plot, honestly. Like, I'm completely fine with Ozpin giving a fairy tale story when we see him and catch up with him in a later volume, if it means that I can just get more real-time plot going on here. So yeah. Or one of these other characters can give it. You know, it doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be like what I'll be honest with you, I would love like a Lost Fables episode with like Alex. Like I would love to see, I know Alex is going through all the things Team RWBY went through, and maybe that's the whole point. It's like, we're not going to give you Alex's story. We're going to tell it through Team RWBY, and you can just insert Alex. But Alex was one person. She didn't have a team to help her. She was just one girl. What I want to know is, how did Alex get her in the first place? How did she discover the ever after? How did she discover this void reality that was only ever possible for them because of Ambrosius and the relic? You know what I mean? There's so many questions, and I just really feel like I don't want most of these questions to be relegated to like a fucking RTX Q&A or some Twitter post nonsense or some Reddit AMA. You know, I really want some of these things to be addressed here and now. I don't know if they'll be addressed this volume, because this volume was made in a vacuum and there was really no type of feedback that could have gone into this volume because it's so different. But volume 10, you know, maybe they can flesh out some things depending on if we actually leave here by the end of this volume. But yeah. Anyways, let's carry on. Overall, liked the setting, liked the pacing, liked how we kind of got in and out of this place. Loved the locale, loved the design of the place and everything. I'm just hoping that it keeps up. RWBY is incredibly in tune with this place, or should I say this place is really in tune with RWBY. I feel like her emotions just run so much deeper than everyone else. Like everyone over the course of the show. Oh, hold on, give me a second. I did not loop that one. All right, let's do that. Let's loop this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I just feel like everyone else has had a chance to kind of reset themselves. But because RWBY's been this static, optimistic protagonist, she's never had or really needed had a true moment to reset. You know? So I feel like this is RWBY's moment to reset, but it's kind of like you know what I want to say too? When Weiss told RWBY that Penny sacrificed herself, the buildup for that, you know what it reminded me of? If you go back and watch that scene and you listen to like what I can only assume is like the adrenaline buildup of her passing out, it sounds like a tea kettle on the pot, like on the stove, and like the spout, like the steam. It kind of, that's what it, like when I watch that, it sounds like she's like a tea kettle that's on the fire, that's like the water's boiling and the steam's building up and rising, and then she just kind of like passes out. I feel like that's like how I interpret RWBY's mental stability at the moment. It's just kind of like like it's something that's just gonna build and build and build and build, and then it's just gonna blow over. It's evident by the fact that just thinking about Penny causes a downpour again, and then thinking about their next goals opens the sun back up. So she's having like these massive emotional swings of happiness, sadness, and everything else in between. But yeah. Yeah, and I think it's fitting. Yeah, fitting because they're about to go to a tea party soon. Yeah, exactly. That's why I was wondering, does this sound like that intentionally? Because I know that they have like tea time and tea parties and stuff like that in like Alice. So yeah, I just thought it was again, it's great how the world is telegraphing RWBY's emotions for us, and we're interpreting the severity of it. You know what I mean? Like, RWBY has never been good with her words. She's never been good at like communicating her feelings, especially when it comes to death, when it comes to despair, when it comes to her losing hope and faith and stuff like that. And she just always seems to kind of like magically bounce back, and that kind of gets boring overall after a while, because not everyone's like people aren't like that. Like no one is just like, nothing can phase me, nothing can bother me. You really have to like be putting on a facade for that shit to be like taken seriously, or to be like, for that to even be believable. And so like, I like how RWBY still doesn't have to say anything, because the environment is kind of expressing that for us. So I do like the direction to go for that. She could have just talked right here about how she's been feeling, how Penny's death affected her, what it means for her right now, that she's like, she doesn't, like, you know what I mean? She could have just popped off. She's so valid to right now. And so I just really think that there's a lot of, there's more potential for that. Like, it's reacting to her in an easy way right now. Like, right now, it's like, okay, it's sunshine when her emotions are neutral. It's raining when she's sad. How's the world gonna react if Ruby just fucking goes off and she just gets like fuming, pissed off? Like, she's like actually big mad. You know what I mean? I would love to see like how the world responds to her negative emotions, like her like how when she gets angry and stuff like that, like lightning and stuff. You know what I mean? I would love that. I think that'd be a cool way to express again more of her emotions without it's show, don't tell. So like show us what she's feeling. Don't necessarily tell us all at once. I think that would be really cool. I'd like that a lot. Yeah, like tornadoes. There's a volcano. There's a volcano biome. All right, I want to see some freaking I want to see some lava emerge from that shit, like cartoon lava. Like it just all shoots out at once, you know? Like on some Pompeii type shit. But yeah, I think that would be super cool. Like super cool. Like this world lives or dies by how Ruby's feeling. So yeah, I would just really like that. And the piano, dude, the instrumental of this scene was so good. Like I think like whoever's doing the instrumentals, like the scores and stuff, they're doing a fantastic job. I love the scores that they used in the last episode when they had the like the vines, like when Weiss and Blake were trying to get Gamble Shroud. I liked that instrumental. And like this one too, like when like all of them are kind of like like Weiss is actually like popping off. She's like, all right, we're getting out of here. I'm not listening to this shit anymore. We're leaving. That's how we get out. Shut up, Blake. This isn't a book. You guys have no idea where you're talking. Like Weiss was actually fuming. And she was the star of the episode, in my opinion, too. But yeah, they have to follow the book. And I think, God, this was so funny. I legitimately like this was so good. The second she picked up the rock, I was like, no! But it was too late. This was so clever, though. Like, the loop implies that you have to follow the path of the story. And if you fall off course, then... If you fall off track, then you get sent back to where you belong, right? And that's probably also maybe why Ruby was just constantly looping through the forest at the beginning of the first episode, because she's meant to find Little. You know what I mean? Or she's meant to like have that moment that gives her the opportunity to find Little. So yeah, it's basically like you're kind of trapped in that situation. But I loved the loop with the... Because they didn't have to do that either, right? Like, that's the world basically saying, fuck you, Ice Queen. You play by our rules and you'll like it, goddammit. Like, she could have just thrown the rock normally. But, like, the world gave her a taste of her own medicine, which was really good. And then she's going off again. I love these moments, man. They were really... I don't know, like, they're extra for her, but, like, they don't take away from what's going on in the scene itself. It's just like, oh, well, there's Weiss not very happy about what's happening. So, yeah, and then we have the plot here. Ruby has to, or they have to go to the Red Kingdom and defeat the Red King at his own game, which is basically like a chess kind of board game. They showed a bit of that in the trailer, and the king actually has like a moment where their face gets like cracked and everything, which is such a trippy ass scene. So I don't know what the hell is gonna happen when we get there for that to happen. I don't know if they're gonna be like, hey, what do you think the meaning of life is? And then they just spontaneously combust, you know? Like, the weight of that question just causes them to implode, and then their head just freaking explodes or something. I don't know. But yeah, so they're going to be going to the Red King next. So we're going to go to the birthday party. And everyone's going to be kind of going through some stuff. I loved this, man. This was like the first moment where RWBY actually speaks up and talks about Penny in such an uplifting way. You know, she's not just trying to like ham fist, like, okay, we need to just convince these guys to bring us. Everything she said was straight facts. She was like, yo, the most powerful warrior who ever existed. Kind of true. You know, she was a robot. She was a maiden touched by magic. She sent a message of hope to the stars, right? Like the CCT communication. She gave her life for thousands. She saw the world through better eyes. That was such a beautiful, just a beautiful way to express Penny's lived experience, or her experiences while she was alive. Yeah, it was just a very emotional, like, wow, like she could just crumble into a ball and cry right now, but she's like, she's keeping it together for the team. She's keeping it together for the mission. And everything she said was true. And she's going to offer the sword. I really hope this sword sticks around. I would love for RWBY to be able to take this. I actually thought, I didn't say this in my reaction because I was just caught up in like everything that was happening. But when I saw her grab the sword, it reminded me, I was like, oh, she'll use Penny's sword as like her stand-in weapon until she finds Crescent Rose. And then that reminded me of Volume 3 when she used Penny's sword to defend herself against the Nevermore in the, or to protect Pyrrha, during Volume 3 after, like, when the, you know, when Beacon was getting attacked by the Grimm. And I was like, oh my god, this is like a Volume 3 callback to Penny and Penny's sword, like her robot sword. And then she's like, oh, let me offer this up as a gift. And I'm like, after you win that match, you better grab Penny's sword and use that. Like, I feel like this could be the Vorpal Blade, like the stand-in Vorpal Blade for Alice, if RWBY is going to be this main character going forward, if she's going to assume the direct role of Alex by the end of it. That could be like a Vorpal sword inspiration. You know what I mean? Because it's a magic sword, and the Jabberwocker is definitely going to be back for round 2 and 3 and however many rounds before it's taken care of. So I feel like either Jean's sword, reforged, could be the Vorpal sword, or Penny's sword can be the Vorpal sword. If either one of those is going to be a thing to take down the Jabberwocker anyway. But also, I love these guys. They're really great. They're so extra. I love the animation that went into them. They all look phenomenal. Oh my gosh, Patrick Horn Jr., thank you for the $50 super chat. Very, very generous. Really appreciate that. I love that the weather is intensifying with RWBY's emotions. Like before, it was a sprinkle, but this time the sky grew darker and was heavier rain. Yeah, and it was built up, too, by the fact that beforehand, when Weiss mentioned, oh, you know, I'm sorry about Penny and all that stuff was hard to hear, you could already hear, like, the rolling thunder, like, building up for this moment. So yeah, it was definitely, and it was only raining on them, they said, or Weiss said, like, now it's only raining on us. So it's literally just a doom cloud that's just following RWBY and company everywhere they go. So yeah, I just really hope that they carry on, because they kind of have to, right? I just remembered there's a shot in the trailer where RWBY's holding Penny's sword and she tilts it, and then you see a reflection of Penny. So I actually think, unless that's at the birthday party where she offers it up, I actually think she might, I really hope she carries on with that sword. I would love for her to take it out of the Ever After, even if she could. But by then she won't need it, because she needs a sword. She needs a weapon to protect herself right now. And Crescent Rose is MIA until further notice, I guess. But yeah, also, I don't know about any of you, but when these guys were, like, huddling back, like, hup, 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 they reminded me of the Nabuk guards from Volume 6, like Cordovan's guards, because they, like, they made the same noises when they, like, marched away. But these guys are so extra, dude. Like, bro, those aren't real horses, okay? You're still putting in all of the work of walking and traveling. They're just there for show. And I'm like, bro, yeah, such wit, such tenacity. That's been my Twitch, on Twitch I have, like, that as my alert for whenever someone gifts a sub on Twitch. So I always hear that alert. Such wit, such tenacity whenever someone subs or resubs. But yeah. And then lastly, to close out the episode, they had a really great follow-up moment with RWBY and company where they're asking her, of all people, they're like, hey, do you think this is a good idea? And it's like, look, none of us know what we're doing. And here's the thing that I love too. I love how she kind of claps back a little bit at them because all of them are kind of criticizing their actions. I actually think this is the first time in the series where RWBY's direct involvement in something, like their direct decisions, led to the outcome that we have now with Atlas and everything else in between. You can say that they succeeded, you could say they failed, you can say they did the best they can, but the reality is they have to live with those decisions they made, and they have to come to terms with it. And I love how RWBY is actually like, look, we don't know what we're doing. We're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. So how about we just go with it instead of acting like any of our decisions or anything we know what we're doing? Like we really just, like, the book is pretty much telling us where to go. So why are we fighting this? So I just really like how, for once, RWBY is just telling her team, hey, can you guys stop arguing and just follow me? You know? Because, like, Blake is like, we have to follow the book. Weiss is like, oh no, we just have to leave. Yang is just, like, there in the moment. And RWBY is, like, super emotional and conflicted. So clearly none of them are on the same page. So I like how, as the team leader, she's going to ring them in. She's going to be like, all right, well, none of us know what the hell we're doing anyway. So shut up and let's go. And all of them are just like, you know what? I can't argue with that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, let's just let RWBY handle this. And she's not completely wrong. But also, I feel like this is the start of, like, RWBY's demeanor really shifting for, like, the startup of it, rather. Like, the last episode, like, gave us a little bit of that. This wasn't like, I'm snapping at you because I'm angry. It's very much like we need to kind of be on the same page. So she's, like, ringing them in, kind of, you know? But I liked it. I don't think RWBY is ever... And she had, like, that freaking devilish look on her eyes when she looked at them. And she was like, I say we follow it. Let's go. So she's just getting a little annoyed, I feel like. She's like, I'm going through all this shit and I have to be the leader still. So I just feel like there's a little bit of animosity starting to build. And also she's got all this emotional baggage that she hasn't properly vented or decompressed from. And I feel like it's going to lead her to do and say some things that she probably would regret given her mental state. Yeah. So I do think that this is like... All right, you want to be on RWBY's good side the further this goes, because if not, I don't know what to tell you. And that is the episode. We're going to the Red Kingdom next. Very, very, very excited for this. I'm just like I wanted the next episode last week, but yeah, I could definitely see RWBY getting to an emotional point where she just says fuck it and she just goes off on her team, because that's how she feels in the moment, and that's what she wants to say in the moment, and she's gonna say it. And shoot first, ask questions later. Also, beautiful concept art. Really love the concept art of the episode. They do a phenomenal job, you know, throughout, but, you know, we like showcasing the concept art overall. I don't think I saw that fountain. And if I did, actually, no, I think I did. I think it was in a wide shot, like the wide top-down shot. I guess I just didn't notice it initially, because like everything took place around Jinxie's cart. But yeah, concept art's great. Yang's arm actually is kind of arm length when it's sheathed, which is just pretty accurate. And yeah. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone watching, that is RWBY Volume 9, Chapter 2 live stream discussion in a nutshell, which was shorter than last week's episode by like half an hour, despite last week's episodes having the intro included. Yeah, this was a great episode. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. After I watched it, I tweeted, I was like, that was a great episode. I really, really, really liked it. I hope they keep it up. I hope they keep the momentum going. I hope the episodes get longer. I hope they get more interesting. I hope with every episode, RWBY gets pushed further and further down that line. And yeah, I assume, I wonder when we're going to meet the Cheshire Cat too, because in the intro, it shows the eyes of the Cheshire Cat in the shot with the Red King and his minions. So if we meet Robbie Damon next episode, I'm going to be happier than a freaking pig in mud. I'll tell you that right now. I'll be so excited if we get the cat next week, or on Saturday, this this weekend. But yeah. Predictions? I think RWBY is going to beat the Red King at his own game. And then they're gonna meet the Curious Cat. They're gonna go through the Dark Forest. They're gonna meet the Caterpillar, the Rusted Knight, and they're gonna make it out through the tree. I don't know. Something tells me that that's all in the works right now. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm just excited to see how things flush out. Obviously, we know the beat of how things are gonna play out, but I'm excited to just see how it goes more so than anything. Prediction. When do you think, so you're going to give me two predictions. What episode do you think Neo will be showcased? And what episode do you think Jean will be showcased? Like, what episode do you think they will debut between episodes 3 and 10? Four for both? Ooh. 5 for both? 3 and 4? 5 and 6? Ooh, halfway point? Okay. 6 and 7? Jesus, that's practically the volume. That'd be wild. Yeah, I'm hoping it's like episode 4 or 5 as well. Yeah, I'd say Neo 4, Jean 5. I think that'd be nice. They need enough time to develop them. Well, like, realistically, Jean doesn't need this massive overhaul to his character development, really. I feel like Jean is in like an identity trance, and he's got to get snapped out of that and then just kind of built back up by his team or by the people that are there, like Team RWBY. Neo is someone that definitely, like, we have to get all of her this volume for sure. So, you know, I wouldn't mind a full Neo episode or a full Jean episode that eventually leads him back with the rest of the squad, like 20 minutes for both, 20 plus. But yeah, I hope. I can't wait for when they get Shadow RWBY. I can't wait for when we get Shadow. I think Shadow RWBY is going to pop off when she enters the picture in full. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be interesting. I just don't know. Like, it's not like she's going to be this villain or something. It's just like it's just going to be a carefree RWBY that doesn't have to worry or think about anything that current RWBY has to. So she's not going to think about Penny. She's not going to think about Remnant, about the relics, about the gods, about her sister, her mom, anything like that. Her uncle, Ozpin, Oscar. You know what I mean? It's very much going to be like a new character, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, we're going to see Volume 1 RWBY I mean, technically we did see that, right? The Volume 5 character short with Yang. We did see Volume 1 RWBY already in the Maya engine. but it's like, it's in volume 9, which is, you know, every volume gets better and better with visually. So I'm really looking forward to how old, like, because here's the thing, Lindsay is gonna pop off, dude. Lindsay, I feel like Lindsay's performances, like, 'cause she's doing current RWBY, she's probably gonna do, you know, identity swap RWBY, and then she's gonna have an internal conflict conversation with her past RWBY self and her present RWBY self. So if she, which means Lindsay's gonna go back to the high-pitched RWBY. She's gonna go back to volume 1 high-pitched RWBY Rose. Oh man, I'm obviously joking, but I still, like, it's gonna be very interesting to see how one person ranges having a back and forth conversation with themselves, essentially. But yeah, I really, 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 really can't wait for that. I think we're probably gonna do the Oscars again this year for volume 9, which is like, I'm already dreading the editing for that, but we're probably going to do the Oscars for volume 9 because we did it for volume 8, we did it for volume 7, and I would not be surprised if Lindsay takes home, like, best voice actress. I'm already, like, thinking that right now. Yeah, and I'm trying to also think how we're going to do it this year, because last year, or for volume 8, like, volume 1, it was me and Cal. I'm sorry. Volume 7, it was just me and Cal. Volume 8 was the, like, community. So I don't know how we're going to present it this year. Like, I don't know if we're going to do content creators again, because I don't know who would or wouldn't be interested. And there's a lot of people that aren't even doing reaction content anymore who were doing it during volume 8. So there's a lot of different options, I should say. Yeah, there were so many people. That was also before Aaron got hired at Rooster Teeth, so they were able to partake. Yeah, we're just light. I was just lightly talking about the Oscars because we were bringing up Lindsay. But yeah, I think it would be cool. I think it would be neat to still, like, keep up that tradition. We have to figure out how we're going to structure things, too, because this volume, I feel like, is going to be a little different. So we can't do, like, Best New Grimm or Best New Semblance and stuff like that. So it's probably going to be a much shorter show. Or maybe we can fill it in with other aspects that are exclusive to the Ever After. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, I love the number one thing I loved about doing the Oscars for volume 8 was that we got Taylor McNee. I don't know why I was, like, brain farting right there. We got Penny's voice actress to present the award for best concept art. So that was really great. I was really happy that I was able to reach out to her, and she was super, like, receptive and excited to do that. And that was a surprise that I kept from everybody until it actually happened on video. Yeah, she was great. And I had to. I was like, Penny died, like, clear. And, like, her, like, Penny overlooking Amity was the one that won. And so it was also appropriate. And it probably felt like it was rigged. Hey, Cal. We just finished talking about the episode. I was just going over, like, my thoughts on the Oscars for volume 9. But yeah. Yeah, we talked about all of the episode, and you're just in time because we're gonna get into our weekly reading session of The Cat in the Hat. So, gamers, we last left off with this giant anthropomorphic talking cat, which is probably the thing of nightmares for children back in the day, ran up in these kids' house when their mother wasn't home. Someone call 911, I tell you. Anyways. But our fish said, no, no, make that cat go away. Tell that cat in the hat you do not want to play. He should not be here. He should not be about. He should not be here when your mother is out. You know what? I say the same thing. That fish is speaking straight facts. Straight flames despite living submerged underwater. Where is the mother after all? She's just leaving her kids here. These kids look like they're like 6 and 7 year old with their pet goldfish of all things. Like imagine that. Imagine getting your kid a pet goldfish and just being like, yeah, that's a legitimate pet for a child. They'll definitely take care of it and feed it every day. And change its water filter. No shame to people who grew up with pet goldfish. I'm just saying. But yeah, that is the episode. So, last thing. Weekly opinionated pointless polls. I was contemplating which one this was going to be, but I wanted it to be based on work shifts. Which is, I guess, what work shift do you have? If you have a typical job, like if you have, like, in your work shift position, do you work first shift, second shift, third shift, or are you flexible with your, like, if you work from home or if you are self-employed? I think that's what we're going to do. Which is basically, oh, fuck, I should also put retired. God damn it. Yeah, I should probably put, like, flexible/retired. What does that mean? Like, what work? What, like if you work, do you go to school? Do you go to work in the morning, 6 to 2, first shift? Do you work second shift, 2 to 10? Or do you work third shift, aka the graveyard shift, which would be like 10 to 6 in the morning? Or is your work shift flexible? Who won last week? Actually, let me check that. And then there's going to be people like you, Cal, that are like, I don't work. I go to school full time. And then I guess you would be flexible because you don't go to school at the same time every day. All right, let's see. All right, give me 1 second. Let's see what poll won last week. Actually, there should be 2 polls. There should be a YouTube version and then a oh, give me 1 second. There should be a YouTube version and a Twitter version. Okay, so let's see what poll won last week. If I can find it, that'd be great. Okay, so Whole Milk won on Twitter with 38.7% of the total votes, with a total of 938 votes. And then on YouTube, Whole Milk also won with 40% of the votes, with 4,800 votes total. So Whole Milk stays winning. I'm not surprised. You should split 5 a.m. to 12, 12 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to... That's not how work shifts work, Cal. Most people, the average, like the typical average, like American, like work time is 9 to 5. Technically. That's like the American dream work shift is 9 to 5. But like when I used to work like at McDonald's, our work shift, first shift was 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Second shift was 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Third shift was 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then yeah. But some people work at the bakery. Yeah, you got to think of those bakers, man. Am I right? Some people work at patty cakes. You got to think of the bakers though. I'll just label it. Do you work in the morning? Do you work in the afternoon? Or do you work overnight? I think I'll do it that way instead of like actually limiting it to like specific numbered shifts, because everyone's shift is different. What if you start at 5 a.m.? Then that's a morning shift. Yeah. They take "let's get this bread" literally. Hey, somebody out there in the world, if they run a bakery, that needs to be their slogan. "Let's get this bread." God, that'd be so goated. They have to, man. But you need an evening? Yeah, you do have one. Well, your afternoon shift would count into your evening because you would work until nighttime. Like a morning shift would end in the afternoon, an afternoon shift would end at night, and then a night shift would end in the morning. Realistically. So that's how it would play out. This will also probably only apply to people who work full-time, like, who don't have, damn, Cal, you're really out here looking out for the bakers of the world. Oh, man. Anyways, thank you guys all so much for tuning in and for hanging out in my live stream for the last almost 3 hours now. It was a very entertaining discussion, hangout session. For people who are watching the VOD, if you made it this far the whole way through, let me know in the comments. Tell me what your favorite color is, and I'll know that you made it to the end. But for everybody else, especially if you guys are listening, did Arnold never listen to Volume 8? No, I haven't listened to the Volume 8 soundtrack. It's on my to-do list. Get off my back. But yeah, I plan to. But yeah, also that question of favorite color was for people watching the VOD, but I appreciate the viewer participation in chat. But yeah, thank you guys so much. My reaction to Chapter 2 will be out on Sunday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. My reaction to Chapter 3 will also be up on Patreon. Same day it comes out for people who get my early access content. And yeah, but thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you guys had fun. I hope it was entertaining. I hope it was enjoyable. Big thank you to everyone who gave super chats and donations and who were being pretty awesome and respectful and chill in the chat. We had a lot of good laughs, a lot of good memes, I would say. I predicted this, by the way. Tell everybody you know. Literally don't let them try to convince you otherwise. I literally did that, and I will be on the phone with Rooster Teeth first thing Monday morning. Dora Hood classic. Oh man, that was so fucking good. Let's see. All right, cool. And no internet issues, so easy clap, boys. All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend. Have fun with the episode 2 reactions over the weekend. I hope you guys enjoy episode 3. We're going to run it back next Thursday, same time, same place. But thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.